You're good?
Oh.
Are we recording?
Yeah, I said we're good. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey,
Okay.
yay!
It's staying in!
That's staying in. No, you said, like, are we good? I thought you were like, are you good?
No,
You were
I said
confirming,
we're
but-
good. But...
Welcome
No.
to Loud Equals Funny.
What we should have done is not said anything, and then the whole episode would just be nothing, and then it'd be like, oh my god, when's the next Caddy episode coming out? And it's like, here it is, and nobody says anything.
Silent. 4 hours of silence, just being like...
I mean, it would become like the new, what's that song that's just four minutes of silence?
Yeah, 4:33.
John Cage. It would be the new John Cage. But, you know, instead of that, we're listening to real music. Fuck you, John Cage.
Yeah.
This is Hyperfixations music number 3 featuring Caddicarus.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
And
It's
yeah,
New
well,
Year in England, right? You
2025.
guys have the New Year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it was New Year like a week after you guys, so because we're ahead,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
little
A week
delay.
before, sorry, a week before.
Yes.
But
Okay.
yeah, no. How's everyone doing? How was your holiday, Christmas, New Year? How was it all for you?
Relatively good. The entire time I just got like high as balls and did nothing. It was amazing.
I got an I paused my game to be here shirt.
Yeah.
Woo!
And
I hate it. It's
lovely.
great.
I got a Guitar Hero plastic controller, one of those, what are they called? The new ones that are with the
yeah.
Fortnite
Riffmaster.
Riffmaster.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Was that? I think I might have recommended it on one of the on the last episode. I
Think
can't
so.
remember.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good. I'm not using it with Fortnite Festival. I'm just playing. So Clone Hero doesn't seem to accept it natively.
Oh shit!
So instead, there's a new game called Yet Another Rhythm Game, Yarg, which is basically just Clone Hero. So I'm just like, okay, fine, I'll just play this. It has all the same compatibility. I guess fuck Clone Hero, but Yarg it is. And yeah, it's been pretty good. It's nice to have my plastic guitar back in action.
Yeah, in fact,
Yeah.
keep
Not
brought
one
it
of
up,
the-
and I found
it's
my
not-
old one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
See, it's-
Okay,
it's-
actually, serious question. Like, okay, so you've explained how you use controllers and shit. So how do you use the? Are you left-handed? Do you strum with?
Yes. We use this thing here
Ah.
to do the picking business.
Oh,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you would. Yeah, because but it's like because it's your right hand is able, so you should be right-handed. So how does your brain compute using your right hand on the frets?
Well, I
Or is
mean,
that
it has
Yeah.
the lefty flip mode, so it just flips the buttons around, and you know,
Oh, yeah.
it's never.
Yeah,
been
no, no,
an
you know,
issue,
I
really.
meant just literally like I mean, I guess if you have no choice, then you have no choice. But I can't even imagine not strumming with the right hand on by choice. You know? Like
Admittedly,
it
yeah.
doesn't even make sense in my head. It doesn't even make sense.
I mean, everyone
a-
is.
It is a different feeling to me as I'm doing it.
It
Yeah.
seems so fucking weird to me that, like, I don't know, that it's called. For one thing, I'm a left-handed guitar player, and I don't have a left hand because what it is it's the picking hand.
Yeah,
So like, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, picking can be fairly complex, but the real difficult thing you're doing is the fucking finger stuff with your fretting hand. So that should be the one that's considered the dominant hand. I don't get why it's left-handed guitar because I'm fretting with my right hand, but yeah, that's just the way I've always done it. I mean,
yeah. I don't get
when
that.
when I used to play it on like keyboard before I had an actual thing, when I was playing Frets on Fire, I would do like normal, just like non-lefty mode. I would just do C, V, B, N, and M as the frets, and then pick with Control. Yeah, that was the fucking good
Ah.
old days.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, it's I guess it's kind of the same with drumming to an extent because it's like there's left versus right. Phil Collins is a left-handed drummer, so it's like what that means is that your hi-hat hand is the left hand rather than the right. And then no, that makes more sense though because your kick foot would be the left foot in that situation. Yeah, okay, maybe that doesn't make any sense. But either way, Ringo for some reason is left-handed but decided to play a right-handed kick, which is why his drumming style is so fucking inobtainably. You can't mimic it, you can't replicate it. That's why it's so
Yeah.
weird. Yeah, that's why most of that's the reason why the opening to Come Together is the way it is, because he's able to lead with his left hand but go the wrong way around the kit. So it's like it's actually surprisingly clever what he manages to do with the Beatles. Like he did push the medium quite far ahead with drumming, even though he is a bit of a joke.
People never give Ringo enough credit. I mean,
He's not incredible. He's just they're just like compositionally and stuff.
Like Octopus's Garden is a perfectly fun song. I don't know, as a drummer, like I'm not a drummer, so I don't know all the intricacies, but it's like he never missed a beat with the Beatles. He did exactly what he needed to do with the Beatles. He wasn't in Porcupine Tree or something, so he didn't need to do a bunch of Gavin Harrison shit, but like, for the band he was in, he did great.
Ringo in Dream Theater, let's make it happen.
Oh, they got Mike Portnoy back. Sadly, James LaBrie is still there, so, their new album is not going to be that great, but, hey, they got their original founding drummer back, and it's nice. When they
I didn't even know. I don't know anything about Dream Theater. I all I knew was Mike Portnoy, and also the singers kept on changing. That's all I know.
Oh no! It was one singer. They changed the singer after the first album, and it was James LaBrie, Toronto's hero, James LaBrie. Right, he's from here, so I'm supposed to like him or something. I mean, I used to like him, but his voice is just so annoying to me now. I don't know. But yeah, Dream Theater. Mike Portnoy was the one of the main composers, and he had this series of songs, one on each album for several albums, which was the 12-step suite. It was supposed to be about like Alcoholics Anonymous and his journey to recovery. But then his journey was a failed one because he became still like a big time drunk, and he got kicked out of the band in like 2011, and he got replaced with like Mike Mangini or something. And I'm not familiar with him, but they just kind of coasted along. They had a couple okay albums since then, but like, I'm looking forward to the new one. I don't know. They're coming to Toronto in a couple months, and if there's still any tickets available, I might try to see them.
And if not, you can go and see Bryan Adams.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't even know if he's. I know he's Canadian, isn't he? But I don't even know if he's.
I think so, yeah.
And yeah. Oh shit!
You sadly no option to
see Drake Aubrey.
Oh god. Sadly no option to see Rush anymore. I got to see. I watched one of the Rush like live shows from, I think it was like 2011, and they did 2112. They did like the
whole thing.
No, they did Temple of Syrinx. And and it was interesting because Geddy Lee was doing like an entirely different like vocal line for it. I guess like it's the encore of like a 2.5-hour show. That's a really high song for him to sing. So it's like
I'm pretty sure that's the one I went, because I went to see them on the Time Machine tour, which I think was 2011 or 2012. So that was the first and only time I saw them. But yeah, like they played I don't know if they played La Villa Strangiato or something, but they played something else that was like, they hadn't played it for so long live because it's like close to impossible to do it in one go, and it was they just fucking nailed it. But yeah, no, Geddy's interesting with his voice because it's like he can't hit those high notes, so he has to just kind of octave it down, and like they don't even change the key, they just octave him down. It's like, and then people say, oh yeah, he still sounds like a dying cat now, and it's like, yeah, okay, first of all, dude's fucking 60, second of all, he's playing keyboards with his feet, and thirdly, look at the bass playing. Like, give him a fucking break. I don't know. I'm able to look past it. I just get into the music, I guess.
He's a bit of a one-man band type of thing. He's up there doing all this crazy shit, and like Alex Lifeson and Neil Peart are there too, but it's just like him doing this bass and keyboard and fucking singing like Jesus Christ. He's a very impressive guy, yeah. Well, we have lists we should probably be getting to here. And I think we're going with like 6 each on this one.
I went for 6.
I got
6
5.
for each of us, and then I guess 15 for Caddy.
I can get another one.
That's how it be.
In fact, what I can, if we just look back at our chat, I can tell you how many we went through each. I think we did 5 each.
We've been doing 5 each, but me and Claw at the very least decided that we're gonna at least pump our lists a little bit.
Yeah, I gotta juice the numbers.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
I gotta come up with an extra one. Shit.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, if we
I don't
did
have my
like,
list on me.
yeah, we did 5 each. So I did 3, I did 15. So yeah, we did 5, technically 5 each. I just kind of cut each of my 3 picks down for each bit. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I might have another album, but I think Claw goes first. if I
Yeah,
remember
we'll do
this
it in
right.
we'll do it in video order.
Okay, so yeah,
Okay.
Claw, me, Tristan, and then Caddy.
Yeah, sick.
Sounds
Alright.
good. Well, yeah, I wasn't sure which ones to go with on this one. I like to kind of pick in a reactive sort of way. I got a bunch of stuff on my list, but it's not really ordered, so I'm like, whatever other people have picked. This one sort of complements that, but if I'm fucking starting the episode, then I guess go fuck myself.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm bad.
But I have a few here that I already set up that I knew I wanted to talk about, so I guess I'll begin with Tristan. You can bring up Regal Worm Pig Views. This is an album from Jared Gosling, who is probably mostly known for being one of the 2 main guys. Well, it's a 2-man outfit that has a lot of guests, but one of the 2 guys behind I Monster.
Oh,
Which
shit.
I already picked an album from I
Ah.
Monster, A Dense Swarm of Ancient Stars. They're kind of a trip hop electronica. The early stuff was like electro swing, but they
Yep.
have like elements of like prog in there, some hip hop stuff. Dense Swarm is kind of like a psychedelic. Yeah, it's like, especially the song Dear John reminds me of like if the Beatles were making music now, like what Magical Mystery Tour era Beatles would kind of be like now, like a more modern version of that. And so I'm a big fan of that album. And there are some other offshoots of I Monster, other projects from the guys involved. I think mainly Jared.
Yeah.
Um,
You've probably
they're
heard Daydream in Blue. If you've never heard of him before,
That's
you've
the
probably
big
heard
one.
Daydream in Blue.
Daydream in Blue or Who Is She or maybe Heaven. They're all pretty big ones from Neverod or even. Yeah, all good stuff. And they have some interesting stuff where like they have a new album coming out, I think, because they've been dropping singles from it. And one of the new songs is like it's like a return to a series that they've been doing for like several past albums. And I just find that kind of shit pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, they always had like a bit of a prog sensibility, and so looking through their other stuff, there's an outfit called Sky Watchers. They had one album in 2010. It's kind of like a slightly electronic, space themed kind of indie folk album, and it's very nice. And I think I might have that on my list as well, actually. But I went with this one because this is a more recent one that I found a couple years ago. This is like it's not a very well known project. If you look up Jared Gosling on YouTube or on Wikipedia or whatever, it won't mention this thing that he's doing. Regal Worm. He's been doing this since like 2010 or 2009 or something. He's been doing this for a while. And I only just found them a while ago. This is the one that I particularly like, Pig Views. And it's basically like a Canterbury prog kind of folk album. It's like there's probably guitar, but it's not the main focus. It's a lot of synths and organs and bass and vocal stuff and very catchy stuff. Very progressive songs, but it's not like the typical. It's not like the typical like prog rock thing where it's just a lot of like, you know, tempo changes and all that stuff that I like, like, oh, now it's suddenly in a different key and everything. Like, it'll do that, but it'll do it more subtly. The songs all flow together in a really nice way. I'd compare it sort of to like a more driving and aggressive, like Joanna Newsom style album. Something a bit like Yeast, which I've also talked about before. By the way, the video game series Yeast also has great music. It's just banger all around. You get something with YS as the title, it's gonna be good music. You know that for
I've
sure.
noticed YS before in things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the game series. It's got some good anime bangers, and then the Joanna Newsom album is just a classic. But regardless, this one is it's my one of my I think I like this probably more than most of the iMonster stuff. Maybe not Dense Swarm, because that one's a little more, I don't know. I just have nostalgia for it. Maybe that's the reason. But this one it's a newer find for me. I like the other stuff from this artist too, from Regal Worm, but it's none of it has that same flow like this one does, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe haven't listened to it enough. This album is like easy to get through the whole thing. It's dynamic. It changes around a lot the whole time. A lot of just really fun stuff, really like silly titles. What are the titles on this album? Let me see here. Fucking we
The
got
big pooey splishy splosh.
almost we've got the dreaded Lurg. We've got huge
No,
machine.
that's what Caddy just said, right? That's the same thing.
Essentially.
Huge machine, you are so heavy. We've got Rose Parkington, They Would Not Let You Leave, and if I'm suggesting a single one from this album, it might be that, or the title track, the intro track, Rose Rubus Smilax Vulcan. Rose Rubus! So yeah, check it out. It's semi-easy listening, but kind of weird contemporary prog. Not as up its own ass as a lot of prog. You know, you could listen to this and not even... It's one of those things you could listen and not even really realize it's like a prog album. But it is, and it's very, very, very tasteful about it. Some interesting lyrics, and it's only... how long is this album? I feel like it's not that long of an album. I don't know how long it is, but it's an easy listen all the way through. So yeah, Regal Worm album is Pig Views, and if you want to check out a single song, yeah, go for Rose Parkington, They Would Not Let You Leave. The album sounds more or less the best praise I can give to an album is often if I can say that the album sounds more or less like the cover art looks. And so
Nice.
if you like that vibe, that's what you're in for, but sonically.
I like shit like that.
All right. So my number one here, the next one I'll let Tristan get this pulled up here, is
one?
Dreamland by Glass Animals. It should be the first one. Yes, there we go. So Glass Animals is kind of it's a British like ephemeral pop band. And
Okay.
very, spacey in a lot of their music and lyrics. That makes sense. I would describe it as like kind of like an acid trip audibly through a lot of this album. The one I'll shout out is a song titled Space Ghost Coast to Coast, which again,
Hell yeah.
I love the fact they shout out one of my favorite shows from the early Adult Swim era. But it's
There he is. It's him. It's
shit.
him.
Well,
that
you
could be
got him?
that could be so many things inappropriately. But it's a very good, goofy album. There's even there's a song in here with where's that? Denzel Curry, which fucking amazing like collab artist with that. Shout outs to Ultimate by Denzel Curry, by the way. But I think it's a really fun like.
What genre is this again?
This is I would say it's more like it's kind of like it's a little bit of like indie pop mixed with like sort of shoegaze elements. It's the best way I would describe it. I'm not great at describing things.
What year is this from?
This is
also?
2020. This came out right when COVID happened.
I like a good modern shoegaze. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
They've got another album coming out, I think, this year. I'm pretty certain. But it's a really good... It's got a whole bunch of weird shit in it. But it's like never... I mean, they've got some albums that are kind of like depressing. This one's very much like upbeat and kind of like... It has underlying elements that are like sad things, but it's never like... It's never... like, it's always upbeat with it. I don't know if I'm explaining this well. I'm a little high, but
Fair.
it's a fun album. It really is, and I'm curious to see what they're doing with that new one. I don't really have much to say in this episode. I just want to hear y'all talk. If I'm being honest, y'all are better. Y'all are better at describing shit, anyways.
Yeah,
But,
I'm mostly here for Caddy and Claw, to be honest. But
Same.
I'm going to try to be a little bit better at describing my shit. With this episode.
I feel
I like to know you guys' music picks, even if you aren't super descriptive all the time. It's like lets me get to know you better, you know.
exactly.
Yeah.
With that, I will let Tristan go ahead this time.
All right, mine's really stupid and obvious. It's the
Oh, hell
Silent
yeah.
Hill 2 original soundtrack.
Yes,
I love Silent Hill 2.
Tristan, we're not allowed to do game music on this one.
Shut up. I'm cheating.
Listen,
No, but,
I think I did Silent Hill 3.
I played Silent Hill 2 first time a little while ago, and Overdose Delusion hit me like a fucking truck. That
It's
song
really
is such
good.
a goddamn banger.
Oh yeah.
So I have a little list here of notes that I wrote because the first time that we were scheduled to record this episode, I was up real fucking late and basically delirious, and then I stayed up even later last night. So that's really cool. But
It happens. Brother.
I'm not at the same level that I was when I woke up that morning, which is strange. And I mean, I guess it's fortuitous because these notes are a lot more lucid than I could probably describe it right now. So I just want to note,
Yes.
this is the original soundtrack, not the complete soundtrack. This one's like 30 tracks. There is a difference. This one sadly doesn't have like the music box tone when you like put the little boxes in the like large thing.
Yeah.
Near the end of the game in the hotel,
Yeah, in the
which is a
hotel.
shame because I like that. But we'll just talk about what we have in this one. Genuine banger. It's so fucking good, and it's strange because it's pretty well constructed as an album itself.
Yeah.
But also things show up more or less in the order that they do in the game, which I guess kind of goes to show how well the game itself is structured. But like,
Interesting, yeah.
it'll shift moods every few tracks from like calm, sort of dark, ambient stuff to like harsh, frenetic, like noise rock kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
very, very nice. Kind of like how the game switch between fog and other world. Wow, it's like metaphor, not the game.
Oh, thanks for the review, Mama Max.
But shit.
Now, Akira Yamaoka is often criticized because people say that his music is just like him throwing together samples from like sample packs or whatever.
Man, fuck
And
that. So is the
don't-
Resident Evil 4 and Devil May Cry 1 soundtrack. So is
Yeah.
fucking Hideki Naganuma. It's
So many of the 90s PlayStation soundtracks
A lot.
were specifically like that, like plundered
Mm.
from zero G sample CDs and shit like that. So
Yeah, it's like literally
I-
Plunderphonics at its core.
as someone who makes Plunderphonics, I have no issue with it. It's some beautiful stuff. It just makes me think, like, what did he get? Like, how much of the soundtrack, when I'm listening to something from him, I'm like, so is he playing the guitar here, or is this like a sample of a guitar that he found?
If I had to
You know,
guess,
that
he's
kind of
probably playing all of the guitars.
Yeah, because he does. I saw
Yes.
him play some of it live.
He's a
so
guitar
I would
guy.
imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. But Theme of Laura is the standout. I'm pretty sure it's the opening track.
Yep.
I mean, it's just great in the context of the game itself, but also it's just a really nice instrumental rock song. No lyrics on this one, by the way, unless you count like the reversed stuff and the reverse will. I
Yeah.
don't.
I don't
'Cause
either.
How the fuck can you understand that unless you can listen backwards?
You can backmask. I mean,
Yeah, but that's
Led
cheating.
Zeppelin Satan.
That's true. So
Going back to like Akira doing like just finding shit and then throwing it against a wall. I mean, so I'm more of a Silent Hill 1 soundtrack guy than 2 and 3, even though they are great. Not for a single second like putting them down, but the second I found out that the track My Heaven from Silent Hill 1 was done with dentist drills, I was like, this is fucking great. Like, this is
That's pretty fucking
super
cool.
creative
Actually-
shit.
I actually remember the video where you mentioned that.
It's fucking.
Did I? Oh
Yeah,
my
it was, like,
god!
way
Oh,
back
scariest! Oh my god! You're talking like 2013,
Yeah, it was
2014,
a
right?
long time ago.
Jeez, I
Yep.
think that was the last time. I think that was the last time we did an episode of this show. Wow.
Yeah, that's true.
Feels like. Hey, it's fine.
But it's really good. And speaking of the Silent Hill 1 soundtrack, I'll just quickly throw out some roses real quick to not only My Heaven, but both parts of Not Tomorrow that lead up to it.
Yes.
Really fucking good.
I'll also.
I can't. Oh, what's the name of the track when is it Lisa the nurse? I can't remember. I haven't played it for ages. But
Yeah,
she starts melting. That's a great track.
Yeah,
when
that's
she's
Not
melting.
Tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then like Not Tomorrow 2 gets this like weird like throbbing groans and shit. It's very nice.
Obligatorily.
Even
It's
I would-
very-
yeah.
It's not quite nice, but it's cool.
Yeah,
Obligatorily. Silent Hill 1 sucks and the controls are bad.
There you go.
Shut up.
I mean, controls are bad. Sucks. I disagree. It may be Stockholm Syndrome. I've played it a ton, but
It's probably a good game. I know it's a
Let's-
skill issue. I just don't want to get the skill. It sucks.
The
Listen,
controls
let's not
is-
talk about tank controls, all right? Let's talk about the musical equivalent of tank controls, dentist drills.
Oh, hell
Yes.
yeah.
It's all
but,
intentional. It was all on purpose.
I'll also give
Every-
a quick shout out to the Silent Hill 2 remake soundtrack being pretty good.
I haven't played it
I
yet.
have to
beats.
give it a listen.
The only one I checked out was Overdose Delusion, and it was, I feel like I would have liked that version of it if I hadn't already heard the original,
Yeah,
but I just prefer the original. It has
it's a good take on
elements that I really like in the original get kind of buried by new things in the remake version, and the new version is also good, but it's like I kind of just want to hear that part that's like rhythm section now or whatever, you know. Yeah, but it was pretty good.
In fact, well,
So,
didn't the original, the first Silent Hill movie, like 2006, didn't they use the
Yep.
the
It was
soundtracks from the games, like,
mostly
which,
one
which
and
no
two.
other video game film has ever done ever? Like,
Well, 'cause
just
it couldn't-
using
I mean,
directly.
You couldn't really top it. I mean, the only ones I can
Yeah.
remember, like Sonic, the Sonic movies lately, they've done like some of the music cues from the games and stuff.
Yeah, like Mario has an orchestrated ba 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 ba.
Yeah. I was kind of
Yeah,
hoping in
something
Sonic
like
3 that Live and Learn would be Live and Learn and not like the dubstep movie trailer version. But yeah, you know, like it's nice that it even gets recognition.
It wasn't dubstep. It
Speaking
was
of
a
which-
good version. It was just kind of awkwardly cut between like a Robotnik
Yeah.
funny gag scene.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bill and Sperm.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if you're gonna put a remix of Live and Learn in a Sonic movie, then you put it in split up in between a scene where Gerald Robotnik gets killed off with a fart. Like that's how you do it, right? Sorry,
I mean,
spoilers. Gerald
yeah.
Robotnik is old and dies. Sorry if anyone didn't
Can't
know
believe
that.
it. Yeah.
That movie was a lot of fun. But
Caddy,
it was
did you not
hilarious.
like the Sonic 3 movie?
I did, yeah.
Oh, okay, you did. Okay, it's
Oh,
sounding
God,
a bit
no way.
negative there for a second.
Oh
I
no!
just had
Holy
to
shit!
make
No!
sure.
I thought it was very funny. The second that like, I mean, Jim Carrey's great anyway, but when his intro as Gerald Robotnik is like cinematic masterclass, and then to have him later on make a joke about women being in the military, like it's fucking hilarious. It's
That was
just
my
very
favorite
funny.
part of the movie.
yeah,
But anyways,
Yeah, very funny.
Sonic has good movies. Silent Hill, not so much. Speaking
Silent-
of,
It has half of a
it
good
has
movie.
it has one good movie.
It
like-
has a Pop-Tart jump scare in the third movie.
Second
with
movie.
Sean Bean.
second
That
movie.
is
second
nice.
movie.
Third
Second movie, I
movie.
think that's
Third movie's coming out soon. We're getting it
Oh,
this.
yeah.
We're getting it this
Crane
year.
heads. Crane heads fucking unite.
Oh yeah.
Badger from Breaking Bad is James. Is that right?
No, it's not him. No,
It's not. It's just
It's
a guy
not.
that looks like him. Okay.
So
doesn't
Well,
look that much like
I think
Badger.
is the new movie gonna have Akira Yamaoka on the soundtrack?
We don't know anything about the new movie outside of like the set footage they've shown, and then it's coming out 2025.
That's definitely
This
one of the
year.
interesting things about him as a composer is that, like, while the rest of Team Silent went down and they kept trying to shove out more shitty Silent Hill stuff, he was, like, the one constant, from my understanding, who, like,
And
throughout
until
the newer games,
well,
like,
until-
he stayed on all of them.
until Downpour and Book of Memories, which was by rest in peace to the late Daniel Licht. And he
Oh,
did
Book
okay.
of
yeah.
memories count.
It counts.
Oh, the
It
Vita
was
game. The
released.
Vita game. Yeah.
That's never getting a remake. Enjoy that, Vita owners.
Be sure to watch our 2-part Silent Hill Hyperfixations for more.
That's right.
Links down below.
So real quick, I'm just gonna go through the rest of my recommended tracks, the rest of my notes. Everything from White Noise with a Z instead of an SE because it's cool.
Ooh, rad.
To Promise Reprise, which happens before Promise in the soundtrack, which I think is funny.
Yeah.
Everything between those tracks is like peak. You're walking alone at night. It's a little bit foggy vibes. Same with Heaven's Night, Alone in Town, Day of Night, stuff like that. And then you have just a genuinely really fucking cool beat from Terror in the Depths of the Fog, which is very cool title. And then you have the sort of kind of mirroring Not Tomorrow 1, 2, and My Heaven. You have True to Betrayal to Black Fairy, which is just ooh. Like technically in the game, other tracks happen between then, but they just flow so well together. And then of course you got Promise, and that bangs.
Yes,
and it's just so nice to go on a walk and listen to this soundtrack. I mean, I got my James Sunderland jacket over there, but like the night that I got it, I went walking with my friend and I wore it, and I was just listening to Silent Hill 2 soundtrack. It was nice.
Hell yeah.
But I also recommend, personally, on top of Theme of Laura, that you see if you can find the edit that combines Promise with Theme of Laura, basically having Promise as like an intro and an outro. There are a few uploads of it on YouTube. Also, if you boot up the game and just leave it for a sec, the Attract Mode trailer also has that. Although I think it has voices over it. But
yeah.
It's so weird how it even has an attract mode in the first place. Like attracting
I love attract
who?
mode so much. Yeah.
But like it's not in an arcade, so what's the point?
I like they kept that going though, because it's an interesting kind of thing where it's like
it's nice to just be able to watch the trailer to the game just by waiting for a second in the
I guess.
But it's also it's kind of like a tone setter. It's like, especially back in those days where it's like, we couldn't do half of this shit in game because we've got this much code. We got a little thing showing what we want to show to start it. So it's like, all right. Yeah. I mean, I really think that, like, especially the first three, like, really get it right with those intros. Like, one's is really good, two's is really good, three's is really good, 4, it's almost great. And then
you could say that about the whole thing. You could say that about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Fair.
God, wasted potential. It's the Silent Hill 4 title.
Yeah, it's a damn shame too.
I always thought Silent Hill 4 looked cool, and then after actually playing 2, I looked up some videos of it, and I'm just like, wow. Yeah, no.
It's
like
almost...
There's like no shadows, you have to like backtrack the whole fucking game.
Yeah.
You're all just shooting people the whole time.
Yeah, it's like it's almost proto PT when you're in the apartment. It's like super cool ideas, and like looking through the the door hole bit, whatever that's called. Yeah, the peeper. Yeah,
and also the perv hole.
And there's technically, like, if you really think about it, this whole game is about a glory hole in your bathroom.
Nice.
It is
very cool.
But isn't that the run? Well, no, I was gonna say, isn't that the whole theme of every Silent Hill game? Everything is just a vagina. Like that, isn't that the whole point?
Especially 2. Especially 2 is that's vagina. 3 also. There's a couple bosses that are like that's a vagina. That's a clitoris. That's literally a clitoris.
I love when horror like monster designer great monsters, but so many of them like. The Halo or the Half-Life guy that was making the monsters and just like, we can't do that one, Jim. It's just a ball sack. That's not a good. We can't put that one in the game. Like,
it's a big walking testicle. How is this going to get past the censorships?
But it's scary. It's meant to represent. I don't care.
If
all you have
anybody
to do the Symphony of the Night thing and just make it RGB.
Yeah.
Because of those fucking things in the library.
Red, green, and blue, big dicks. I mean, you can do what Persona does. They've literally got dick monsters in the SMT franchise in general. And I think for one of them, they just gave it a hat, which just made it look more like a penis.
Shoutouts to Mara.
Yeah, thank you, Mara.
I was gonna say, if anybody is up for like a little bit of joy on the hell site that is Twitterx, you can follow Masahiro Ito, the art designer, the lead art designer of Team Silent. Follow him on Twitter. He does do English tweets, and every tweet he more or less does is that theory's not correct, and that's it.
Every
and
so
it's
often
brilliant.
He'll just like retweet somebody who's saying like, "Oh, did you know that Silent Hill based on Centralia?" And he's like, "No, stop this. It's not fucking
it's a
right."
movie.
You know what? Something I found interesting, which actually got people arguing with him, which I found funny because it's like the dude fucking invented it and drew it and directed it. So why are you arguing with him? But it was the whole pyramid thing. Sorry, but it's the bit when you see him assaulting the leg creatures. Yeah. And everyone was like, "Oh, this must be representing James's, what he did when, blah blah blah." And Ito was basically like, "Oh no, I didn't mean for it to look like that. I figured it was just clear that he was messing around with them on the table and just annoying them." And it's like, "Oh, that's why he did it."
That's why he had it changed in a remake, because it's like more.
He was just playing cards with them. Why are you being lewd?
Just giving them a rough hug.
Giving them a massage. It's fine.
Yeah, no, it's like it must suck making something that big and then just having to be like, no, it's not this, people, come on, fuck.
No, it's not about his mother. No, it's not about his mother. No, it's not about her mother. Okay, it is about her mother.
Exactly.
It's not about my dick. No, it's not about my dick.
No, this is not an allegory for how I can't get hard anymore. Please stop tweeting that at me.
While it is true, listen.
But yeah, this was 2 decades before that happened, alright?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Leave me alone. Right. The game series is not called Silent Hill. Leave me alone. Stop it.
Oh boy.
Alright. What's yours, Caddy?
Oh god, alright. Okay, I'm going to do what I did last time, copy image, and then just stick it in the little chat. So, apologies if I think I've got it so that I haven't repeated myself, but before this whole recording started, I was just saying to the guys that my cache on Google Chrome just emptied and I lost everything that I'd done up to that point on these lists, which is really annoying.
Really cool.
But then we went back to some backup photos and some screenshots that I took, but the problem is that they were pre-changed. So I was like, I have to remember what I changed there and then figure out what I wanted to do now because it's been long enough for changes to be made. So whatever the case, if I've repeated myself, just say, but I'm pretty sure I'm all good. But first, on my list of Cads Nads, as I've called it, my all-time favorites, is this one. It's Machine Gun Etiquette by The Damned, which are... I mean, punk basically began in the UK. I mean, I think that you can debate that, I guess.
I will begrudgingly give you guys that one.
I'll give you that.
I mean, Thatcherism was pretty fucked up. So, I mean, what else was going to happen? So, that kind of whole thing happened, and The Damned, they're not like underground at all. They're one of the the more remembered. They're still going today. They released a new album like 5 months ago, which is really fucking good. But yeah, this is the earlier Damned, because their debut album, which is called Damned, 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 which it's just ridiculous. That is just full on 4 guys in a garage punk, like really sloppy, really good shit.
Yeah, the classic.
Yeah, and then this is kind of like do you know what? It might be the second or the third album. I'm pretty sure it's the second. But basically, what happened is that they were like, okay, let's just refine it. And so from this album onwards, it just gets a little bit more intricate. And then by the mid 80s, I want to say 85 or 86, they do an album called Phantasmagoria, which is basically goth synth rock. It's not even punk anymore. And that was one of my original picks because every track on there is a banger as well. But then I was like, actually, you know what? This is a good in-between of the punk and some of the more interesting ideas they do later on. But yeah, it's just classic British punk. And I get that there's not really much else to say to it. If I have to recommend tracks to it, there's every one of them's a banger, but like Title track, which I think is track 2 actually, but Machine Gun Etiquette, that kind of gets everything off pretty well. It's not the first track, but it gets it's what you would expect a song about etiquette with a machine gun to sound like. It's very like, it's crazy, and it's delicate yet insane, if I have to kind of describe it in a way, and that's kind of the whole vibe of the album. But then there's Anti-Pope, which is like a 4-minute anthem about church is all right. Fuck the Pope though, which is great.
Real.
Yeah, absolutely. Then there's the final 2 tracks, which is a 2-parter, Smash It Up, part 1 and part 2. Oh god, well, but the most interesting track though is one called Plan 9 Channel 7, which is like one of the longest tracks they did at the time, and it's more. Not when I say prog, it's more like it's telling a story. It doesn't change tempos or anything, but it is pretty long, way more melodic, way more atmospheric, and it doesn't sound punk at all, really. But
man, I love that you say it's pretty long and it's 5 minutes and 8 seconds. That's like
that's how you know.
Dude,
that's like the default. Like 5 minutes is where I like set the bar. Like I want to get the song at least 5 minutes. But yeah, for punk, that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, put it this way. Machine Gun Etiquette, I'm looking at it right now. Machine Gun Etiquette, the track is 1 minute 48. So like, but then five, and most of the original album is like, I think there's a track on the original album called "Stab Your Back," and it's 50 seconds long, and it's sick. What else do you fucking need? It's great.
Yeah. I also have to mention you're not bringing up the best part about this band, which is the names of the members. You know,
the names are
all stage names, but like, so in order of like craziness, you've got Paul Gray. That's pretty normal. That's just the name of the guy. Yeah. That's not even his stage name. That's just his name.
That's David, just the guy.
David Vanian.
He's the singer.
Yeah. And then you got Captain Sensible.
I like that.
In the middle grounds of sensible, because that's a very silly name, but like it's more sensible than Monty Oxymoron, who's the keyboards and backing vocals, and then of course the legend, the drummer, Rat Scabies. Everybody, Rat
Scabies.
Oh, fuck! I love punk.
So funnily enough, those are the
I also have to mention I've apparently looked up this band before. I'm not sure why. Maybe I heard a song of theirs on Spotify or something. I looked them up, and a bunch of these links are like ones that I've clicked on already. So I checked them out at least.
I think what you maybe heard was they used a track from the first album in Baby Driver called Neat Neat Neat. Which was it was one of the ones where it's like he sticks the headphones in, and then the chase starts and the Damned plays, and it's like, shit, yeah, fucking let's go.
That movie's such a good time.
Yeah, no, Baby Driver is fantastic. But yeah, it's interesting because like, okay, so all of those members of those bands, those are the more recent members. This is just 4 of them, and the most important thing is that Dave Vanian and Captain Sensible and Rat Scabies are still there. So if you'd imagine a band and you've got Captain Sensible on guitar and Rat Scabies on the drums, then that's the kind of shit the Damned is. But it's surprisingly, it's Machine Gun Etiquette. It's a paradox. It's like, it's pretty in your face, but also very well constructed. They can play their instruments. They know what they're doing. Good shit. Highly recommend. So that would be.
They had Lemmy in the band when they were touring at one point.
Yeah, well, so it's funny you say that because I went to see Motorhead it was either 2008, 9, or 10. I don't remember. I think it was 2008. And they were the warm-up act. The Damned were the warm-up act. They've always been really close friends. And all I really remember, it was such a long time ago, but all I really remember was that the Damned killed it. But then when they had their set finished, they left the stage, and Captain Sensible was pissed out of his brain and would not leave, and no one could get him off the stage, and he was just smacking his guitar strings, not playing any chords, and then eventually like the security had to get him off, and as they were trying to, he just kept going, fuck off, and it was just like, what is happening? It's like,
sensible of him.
I don't know much about punk, but that sounds pretty punk.
It's pretty punk. Especially
for a guy who's been in the band since like I guess close to the beginning. Like, to still be that punk and, like, just fuck you, you know, instead of, like, selling out or whatever. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, no, they've like, and even the most recent album is like, again, it's not punk, I would describe. It's much softer, it's more aged, but it's like, it's interesting though, because the newest album, it still fucking smacks, but a lot of the tracks are about getting older and it's very like reminiscent, and it's very melancholy while also it's interesting. It's very interesting shit. But yeah, like Dave's voice as well, extremely unique, because it's more like, it's not singing but more like wailing in a church. It's like very low, very kind of it's like really weird. It's good shit. So
hell yeah,
I would recommend, especially if you're into punk, especially when it comes to my runner-up. Okay, I had the picture here. There we go. Copy image. Fucking blah 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 blah. Second in my runner-ups would be Little Queen by Heart, which essentially, I mean, I didn't even realize it was 1977. Fucking hell! Wow, I thought it was a bit later than that. No, 77. Basically, two sisters, Led Zeppelin. It's female Led Zeppelin. That's the best way to describe it. Yes, first track is Barracuda. Everyone knows fucking Barracuda. It is it's a classic. It's a classic. It's a classic.
My dad claims to have known the ladies in this band, but
no way.
Nice. I think he might have just been saying that to sound cool. I don't know. The jury's still
does sound very cool.
Me too.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just a very fucking solid album. Very good rhythms. Vocal performances out of this world. And it's one of those, again, it's every track is great. Every track is great. There's not really much to say about it. The album cover doesn't really represent what it's like, because it's kind of going for a, you know, like a medievally, like Robin Hood kind of thing.
It looks like they're literally at a Ren Fair.
Yeah, which they probably were, but like it doesn't have that sound to it, because Barracuda does not make me think of Robin Hood. It's not really that kind of thing, but it's super bluesy, super, like, you know, like when I say grungy, I mean in kind of 70s rock grungy, just very kind of deep, very kind of guttural. But then you'll have other tracks, like what's the name of the track? Say Hello is one of the better tracks on there, and that's really floaty and really nice, and they use really like light, maybe not ukuleles, but they use really kind of soft instruments, but then they'll have Kick It Out, which is just a full-on rock song, and then obviously Barracuda. Love Alive is a good one as well. That's very Zeppelin. It's all just good shit. It's all just really, really good shit. Little Queen as well, title track. I would say, actually, because everyone knows Barracuda, that's the one I would recommend people listen to if you've never heard Barracuda before. It's a classic. But if you don't... Yeah, exactly. It was on Guitar Hero 3. I mean, who didn't play that game, right? So
I mean, it's been in everything, you know? It's like...
Yeah, I think it might have even been in a Marvel movie.
Oh, yeah, that's one of those songs that's like in car commercials and shit, you know?
Yeah. Which does cheapen it a bit, but when you just listen to it in isolation, it's like it's okay. Good. I know I'm going to ramble off for a second. It's funny that you say that though, because when I speak to, I know that Claw, you're Canadian, but like when I speak to American friends who like Queen, the band, I'm sitting here like, most of the Queen catalogue or at least the greatest hits are cheapened because of being in the UK, because their fucking songs are used all the time in everything.
Like, imagine the same over here.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so imagine
it's probably like worse over there.
Yeah, there's probably like a wider selection, but like everyone fucking.
We got a fucking like TELUS like cable commercial for like a couple years that was "I want to break free," and
that one fucking you can't go a week without hearing "We Will Rock You" and "We Are the Champions" back to back.
Yeah. The good thing is nobody's using the Prophets song, so it's still fucking peak.
Yeah.
Or anything from Queen 2, maybe, except Seven Seas of Rye. Maybe.
Yeah, it's I would, you know, funnily enough, the one that is, I would say, the most overplayed in this country is "Don't Stop Me Now." It is always the one. If you're watching like Pop Idol or the X Factor, it's always ones that like contestant singers do. It's always one used in ads. It's always ones used in like oh, we're going on a drive, follow me, and then fucking Don't Stop Me Now starts. It's like the most cliched. But yeah, so similar thing, but then if you leave it, you stop watching TV because TV's bollocks. You stop watching TV, give it about 4 months, and then you listen to Don't Stop Me Now in isolation. You're like, this is a fucking great track.
fucks.
It's
it goes
yeah,
hard.
and same kind of thing with Barracuda. But if I was going to recommend another one that's not Barracuda, it will be the title track, which is halfway in the album. But Little Queen, great track, very very groovy, very very low down, very very rhythmic, very very cool is the word I would use.
I have to ask, as we brought up Queen, are they the Little Queen as a band? Like, would you say that?
Nah. I wouldn't say
No?
that.
Okay.
It's like when I say it's like woman Zeppelin, it is. It's not like crazy. It's more like, yeah, it's just, oh yeah, here's two women, they can rock like as well as Led Zeppelin can. It's very much just kind of like that. It's safe, but they're very well done safe. It's super well done safe.
I haven't heard much from them. I didn't know they had more of like a kind of folk rock, like Zeppelin-y kind of vibe, I guess. Too,
it's funny because the one that everybody knows is Alone.
Yeah.
The which is funny because you you alone, that one, the like it's
your voice kind of cut out a little
cut out a bit.
Oh no, Discord ruined it. It considers my singing voice white noise. Thanks, Discord.
You can temporarily turn off noise reduction. It's right next to video connected, or I guess for your case, audio connected, and noise suppression powered by Crisp.
How about I just do like a kind of speaky version? I'll do the Mama Max version of it. It's the kind of till now, always get by on my own.
Oh shit, they did that?
Till I met you. Yeah, that's them. And though
Maybe
it chills me to the bone, how can I get you alone? It's an 80s ballad. It's cheesy as fuck, but like vocally amazing. And it's like it's not the same sound at all. But like as far as stadium 80s anthems go, especially, I'm not one for that kind of shit. I find it way too echoey, way too shite. But like I will listen to that.
Later Queen too. It's interesting. Yes. I'm very interested in the way Tristan's shaking his head. It's not bad. It's not my thing as much as like early prog Queen.
Yeah, that's fair. I do prefer prog Queen, but man,
I'm gonna say if I Want It All was like 70s era Queen, it would be a much better song if you ask me. Like it's the drum sound. It's like, what are we doing?
I'm very fascinated in like a lot of those bands from the 70s and how they evolved into the 80s. Like King Crimson got a little weird. Yes, got a little weird, but we got Owner of a Lonely Heart out of it. Yeah, a lot of these bands, like I guess Heart went into like cheesy ballad territory. That's interesting.
They did a little bit. I mean, I would say that was probably their best. Like the fact that I even like badly kind of recited it through the mic in Mama Max tone is like, but you still recognized the tune roughly, and because it doesn't sound. It's like, oh yeah, Barracuda Alone. It doesn't even match. It's so far apart. But the most important thing is like, you listen to Alone, it's like, take the cheesy instrumentation out, listen to the tune, listen to, everything else, and listen to the vocals, and you're like, yeah, that's why they can do ballads, they can do blues, they're very, very, what's the word? Malleable is the word. Yeah. They even did, what was it? It's on Apple Music, but they did a live version I think it was the Royal Albert Hall, I can't remember, in the UK, but they performed Stairway to Heaven in like 2014. And the surviving members of Zeppelin were in the audience and they all cried because it was that fucking good. And nice. I highly recommend it because it's like they can still sing even as like older ladies, and then like they get to the ending parts of Stairway when it, everything kicks in, the drums are in, and then it starts speeding up a bit, and then they get a choir in for the final vocal bits, and it's like, ooh, down the road. It's so good. Damn. So good. Yeah, I need to listen to more of Heart, but like you want to start somewhere, can't start anywhere better than this, 100%. So yeah, that's definitely what I would go for with my runner-up. When it comes to newer finds, my next one. I had the picture, here it is, copy image, post image. boom, we have The Blessed Hell Ride by Black Label Society.
Ooh, that's the
which-
Zakk Wylde band, right?
It is the Zakk Wylde band, who amazingly, even though does the the yeah in his songs, he actually just talks like that. That's just his voice.
Oh my
Like that's how he
God.
speaks, which is hilarious. But
Really quick,
yeah,
I'm gonna
so
go grab another drink, but I can still hear you. Just continue.
oh,
Does
go for it. Yeah,
he-
go for it.
Does he sing on this for this band?
Yeah, he's the good lead singer and guitarist. Yeah.
Oh, because I've
Yeah.
never listened to this. I was a big Ozzy fan when I was like 13, and I was a huge fan of the Black Rain album, and he was on that one. I Don't Want to Stop, that era. And
Yeah.
his like pinch harmonic shit is it's speaking of Guitar Hero, he was a boss.
Wait, I'm sure actually.
It
Maybe
was
it was
four.
four.
3 was like Tom Morello. Fucking God, who was the other one? Shit.
Oh god, I wish I could. Now that you just
Slash
said,
and then
Yes.
Satan. That was the ones.
Yeah,
Luke.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
This-
yeah. That went down to Georgia.
yeah. So so what's cool about like what you just said, Claw, about Ozzy Osbourne. Funnily enough, the track that was in Guitar Hero 4 and the single from this album, Stillborn, Ozzy is the background singer. It's featuring
Oh,
Ozzy
nice.
Osbourne. And we discovered this when me and my family were catching up with stuff. Like we watch comedy shows over dinner, and we kind of back to back them every day when we're eating. And one of them recently was we rewatched all of the Osbournes, the show, which still holds up. A fucking plus, really
Peak
funny.
2000s viewing.
Absolutely. But yeah, so we were kind of going through all of that, and what was interesting, which I didn't know, is that whenever the camera crew followed Ozzy off doing his tour, in one of the seasons, Zakk Wylde is the guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne, which I didn't know. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, so they've always worked together, and now he's appearing with them. And then when you listen to the rest of the tracks on this album specifically, it's basically just heavier, groovier, newer Black Sabbath. Like it's really,
Nice.
really classic Sabbath, but
So
just a
it's
bit
like
more
doom
modern.
metal a little bit.
Some of it is. I mean, track listing. You've got Final Solution, Funeral Bell. Blackened Waters.
That's a bit of a dodgy phrase.
Oh yeah. I know, yeah, and We Live No More and shit like that. But for every track that's kind of like that, and then you have like Zakk Wylde doing the vocals, and it's like with that voice, it's like I want you to read a bedtime story, but I also think you're the arbiter of death. It's a very cool mix, But there's so many good tracks on here. But again, describing it, if you like Ozzy, if you like Sabbath, you literally can't go wrong with this. But then I haven't. It's like I said, it's a newer find. I haven't looked into more of it other than Stillborn, so like back in the day. And then I was like, oh, where did that song come from? Then I listened to the whole album. And I was like, oh, I should have listened to this back in 2003. Okay, I'm sad it's taken me this long to get here. But
Are they still doing music now?
I think.
Oh, I guess
so.
you don't know. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm afraid.
Well,
keep
us updated in fucking music hyperfixation number 57 whenever we get there.
Yeah. I mean, jury's out if the rest of the albums are any good or not. But like, this is a very good, solid one. Very, very good.
1998 to present.
There you go. But yeah, I would say, if you haven't heard Stillborn, definitely give Stillborn a listen. It's like you listen to it and you're like, oh, this came out in 2003. Like it sounds very late 70s, early 80s, and it fucking goes. Like the drum line is great. The chorus is very catchy, very, very good riff, even though it's like one note. It's like da 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 da. That's the riff. But it works, and it's just really, really cool. But yeah, the Stillborn, if you haven't heard that. But then Stoned and Drunk is a great one, which I think is 3/4 of the stream of right now of the people that are on the stream right now.
Oh, yeah.
And then what else is there that I could say? Probably I mean, Destruction Overdrive is a good one as well. Suffering Overdue is another good one. But yeah, Stoned and Drunk, Stillborn, Suffering Overdue. There you go. I would say start with them. And I can't wait to listen to the rest of it.
Yeah, their most recent album was in 2021, and it's called Doom Crew Incorporated, which is fucking cool.
I like it. Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, the album before The Blessed Hellride is called 1919 Eternal. Like, oh, fuck.
They've got some
The
good titles, damn.
Yeah, the album artwork is based on a German Nazi propaganda poster. Fucking hell. Oof.
Well, let's hope they don't go down the path that Iced Earth went down, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah,
Yep.
good shit.
Welcome back, Bane.
Hola.
Bane, did you take a 20-minute shit again?
No, I had to pee. I also got a drink.
Oh, a 20-minute pee. Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna drink, but I'm saving it for later, and it's a damn shame.
God, did I actually talk for 20 minutes?
No, he's kidding. He's kidding. He's busting my
asshole.
balls. He's busting my balls.
Yeah, every so often during Halo night, he'll just go, "All right, I gotta go stop playing Halo. I'm gonna take a shit," and he's back like 30 minutes later.
Well,
Yeah.
literally, it's just like
And then there was, of
I'm on
course-
Twitter or something.
Yeah,
Scrolling.
I get it.
And then there was the time that you drove out of your town to go get movie popcorn
Yeah, well, okay,
I don't
it was the
get
end of
that
the night.
in the middle of a Halo night.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. I was really craving popcorn, and there's a theater that's not too far away from me. It's less than 10 miles. Which, very small, shitty area, that's not that far. It's...
I gotta tell you, I live in a small, shitty area. I
Isn't
live in a
that-
small, shitty area, and there is a movie theater less than a mile right there.
I mean, hey.
Right
Isn't
across
10
the river.
Isn't 10 miles like half of England, Caddy? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know, 10 miles.
Actually, I think it's
Nice.
most of it.
Do you know what's really funny? If I drive 10 miles in one direction from my house, I end up in a hill in the middle of nowhere. It's
Yeah.
great. It's great. In fact, I end up in Wales, actually, if I go 10
Oh,
miles
shit.
one way.
Oh,
I
you
end up
can
in
have
another
the middle
fucking
of
country.
nowhere.
Yeah, you gotta get your fucking Y's and L's in order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think of the States as basically like small countries within a country.
Essentially, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's some
I think
differences.
you can fit, I think, I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I'm pretty sure you can fit 5 United Kingdoms in Texas. Like, that's how small
I think
we are.
so.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. I
Somewhere
know the
around
entire population of Canada is about equal to California. So,
Wow.
It just spread up in
pretty
distance.
we got so much room, we're using it for nothing. It's great.
Yeah.
Uh,
Open
The
floor
the
plan.
Athabasca
The country.
sand dunes,
yeah,
perhaps.
yeah. A lot of people that can't drink water without boiling it first. Really good stuff. Great
Nice.
country. We're on to me now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Caddy, you inspired me. This was one on my list. You brought up Heart with that album cover that looks kind of Ren Fair folk. I have this one. This is, I'll just post it in the Caddy chat here. This is Wishbone Ash's album Argus.
Argus.
It is from the 1970. I should get my info in order here. It is from 1972. And as a kid, my dad played this one a lot. It was one of his favorite albums, so I heard it a lot, and it was a very captivating album. It's often referred to as progressive rock, and I dispute that because, like, I don't know, it doesn't have anything that's all that progressive rock outside of just the fact that the first half of the album is, like, ordinary kind of songs about like getting older and the girl that I once knew and stuff like that, but the second half is more medieval and kind of it has like the lyrics are specifically the tone of like I am a knight and a warrior and stuff like that. Yeah, other than that, there's no like organs that are like really prominent. There's no prominent synths or anything. There's no like key shifts radically like in a way that you wouldn't hear in like a Led Zeppelin song or something. It is just basically like hard folk rock with some like softer tracks, but a lot of it, the song Warrior in particular would be called, I'd say like pretty much like 1972's version of hard rock is fair to say.
Nice.
And like it's called prog rock. I don't really get it, but it's a beautiful sounding album. The song "Sometime World" is very meaningful to me. The bass line is really difficult to play, and I have a lot of fun trying to play it. But man, it's a workout. Uh, yeah, the album is notable for like um well, I guess the whole band really. Wishbone Ash, like I don't know much of their other stuff really, because a lot of their other stuff that I've heard is like not the best, their newer stuff. They're still going as of a few years ago anyway, and it's like fine. It's like kind of what you expect from a 70s band in the 2020s or whatever. Like it's fine. It's okay. But yeah, even their earlier stuff and the stuff like directly after this, it took more of like there was one album I know that they did that was kind of like, I don't know, biker rock or something. Like it had like a
Ooh.
motorcycle on the cover.
Yeah.
It might have been good, but it's like that. I don't know. That's just not sort of what I'm after, because this album is kind of more folk Greek mythology kind of vibes. And yeah, I would prefer if they had stuck to stuff like that. They don't have a lot of stuff like that, so I'm mostly knowledgeable about this album. But yeah, it is. It's an interesting album because it has two lead guitarists, and that is not something you got a lot of at that time. It's like more common now. You get like your Iron Maidens or whatever that'll have like three guitar players and shit. But yeah, two lead guitarists, and all of their songs on the album have like this interweaving kind of guitar structure, which is really intricate and interesting. I guess it's something you could say is kind of prog about the album, is just the sort of flowing. I guess now you could compare it to something like, I don't know, Animals as Leaders or whatever. It's like it doesn't sound like that at all, but just like the way the guitars kind of melt into each other. You don't even notice, if you're not like aware of it, that there's like really two different guitars happening. You think it's just one continuous kind of sound, but it is just, yeah, it's multiple guitars happening, and it's so effortlessly, blends together in a really great way. And yeah, the first three songs again are kind of more of a normal sort of rock vibe. They don't really go for anything that's like conceptually all that crazy. Like, Sometime World is on there again, very meaningful to me. I like that song a lot. Time Was is another one that's just about like looking back on the past and the things that have happened, and reminiscing and stuff. Blowin' Free is probably like my least favorite on the album, but it's okay. It's pretty good. It's not a skip for me. It's still a good song, but it is just kind of like, But then side two, you get the fucking four-song powerhouse. You get The King Will Come, which is sort of a god-themed like song about in the fire the king will come. Just like it's basically about like Judgment Day is coming, everyone's gonna die. If you do like the song, the Prophet song by Queen, it's a similar vibe to that. Leaf and Stream is sort of the folk chill vibe song for this one. It is kind of, yeah, very melodic, really beautiful solo on that one. Again, I think it's the two guitarists. It's let me get the names right here. It is Martin. No, Martin Turner is the bass player. Yeah, it's Andy Powell and Ted Turner. I suppose they're probably brothers. They are the two lead guitarists, and yeah, so it's like dueling guitar solo kind of thing. If you're into guitar, you probably like something on this album. Warrior is like the real hard rock kind of banger. I have to be a warrior fighting to be free. It's like a fucking, you could play that at a hockey game. You could just play that at a stadium, and people would be fucking chanting and banging their fists. It would be great.
Yeah.
Never gonna happen. But then finally the album closes out on the song Throw Down the Sword, and it's a kind of a culmination of this medieval vibe that the last three songs have also had. And it's, throw down the sword, the fight is done and over. It's like, the album's done, my story is over, fight on until the very end, die with your boots on. And it's got this beautiful solo, very kind of melancholy but powerful song. It's like it's something you could kind of cry to, but it's not like depressing, like slow or whatever. It's got some beat to it. It's like a kind of almost optimistic, like the hero has died, but he was successful.
Yeah.
Bittersweet ending to the album. So that's Argus by Wishbone Ash. If I have to recommend one song, I'll probably. I love Sometime World, I love Time Was, but I'll probably go with The King Will Come. And just really listen to the second half of the album, 4 songs. It is beautiful stuff. Very, yeah, again, I don't know. It's called prog rock a lot of the time. It has none of the trappings of prog rock. Like I said that the other one, Pig Views, is like kind of prog, but like doesn't have a lot of the. This just has like none of it. I don't know why people say that. Maybe it's the structure of how the guitars are kind of like a little different for the time. Like it was maybe ahead of the time, so it was called that. But like I don't know. I don't really see it other than just like the lyrical themes, and it's like Led Zeppelin had that. They're not really considered prog all that much. I don't know. Frankly, No Quarter is more prog than this album, but yeah, if you're a fan of Iron Maiden, it's directly said on the Wikipedia here that Steve Harris from Iron Maiden has pointed out the harmony guitars, and yeah, like Iron Maiden with I think they do have like 3 guitarists with them now. At the very least, for the longest time, they had 2. And yeah, that's one of their... If you're a fan of them, this is like a softer version, a proto-Iron Maiden influence that you'd probably want to check out. So, there's my album.
Nice.
My number 2... I'm going. I thought you were saying something there, Caddy. My bad. All right.
Wait, what?
I thought you were saying something. I interrupted. I'm like, oh.
No, I wasn't.
All right, so my second one, I did the first episode. I did the first album from Faith No More, Introduce Yourself. Really good album. Still love it to this day. I think it's perfect. But I've started re-listening to their discography, and I wanted to point out King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime.
I have not heard that one yet.
Ooh, this one's got a lot of bangers.
Is this Mike Patton?
This is Mike Patton. This is the second Mike Patton album. Yes. Mike Patton, he does a lot of crazy stuff with his voice, usually. He, likes to shift around and do characters within songs. Mr. Bungle kind of proves that. But, the popular ones from this one, typically the title track is actually my favorite from the album. I'll say that. Although, Just a Man is really fucking good, too. But I'll recommend everyone listen to The Gentle Art of Making Enemies, because it's really, 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 really fucking good. But the whole thing is full of, like... there's very few skips, but it's a fun time,
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite albums ever made. You skip a bit of it, but it's fun.
I mean, I'm here mostly for, like, the tone and the vibes. It's a fun time. But, I mean, there are a couple songs where it's like, yeah, you could have cut this one out, but it's good. It's fun.
Bane, what are you doing?
I'm also a little high. Cut me slide. I made
Were
this...
you high when you made the list?
A little bit, too. Answer's yes.
Album.
It's a fun album. I just wanted to shout it out, and I think more people should listen to it. It's mostly what my suggestions are. It's like, hey, you should check this one out. Again, I'm mostly here for you guys. I'm going to be real. But,
That's fun.
But this, Tristan.
Mine's The Mollusk from Ween by Dean and Gene Ween. Who up?
What?
Huh? Yeah. You never heard of Ween or the mollusk?
No, I haven't.
You've
Please,
definitely heard.
Tell me more.
You've definitely heard a
Oh,
song
shit.
from it, but
I've heard of the mollusk. I remember hearing about it, and it sounded like something I'd really enjoy. So I'm interested.
It's nice. So first of all, who up Ween they mollusk till there's an ocean man.
Is this the one with Ocean Man?
this is one of Ocean Man.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Ocean Man.
Yeah, you gotta know that one, Caddy, right?
Yeah.
I've never heard of Ween, or I'm looking at the album. I don't know what any of this is.
Well,
Maybe I
Ocean
would.
Man
Maybe
is
I
like
would
a
if you
gi-
played. Do you know what? I'll
Ocean
go.
Man
cover-
is like a
the cover is a
giant meme.
Okay,
cover
wait a
is
minute.
a
Wait a
bit
minute.
inscrutable.
I'm gonna just look this up on YouTube very
Yeah,
quickly.
I don't know if this cover gives away what Ocean Man is about, really.
It kind of does. There's a bit of
the
there's a
ocean.
lot of sea related shit.
Yeah.
I'll just let Caddy take a little listen. I recommend Ocean Man. That's a bit
Okay,
of a
I'm
spoiler.
listening. I'm listening to it. I'm skimming through it. Admittedly, I'm seeing it has 24 million views. I'm seeing it. I don't know what memes this is. I've never heard this in my life.
Well, the
I have
meme is
no idea.
just the song Ocean Man. Kit Boga
Yeah.
likes that one a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've never heard it. Never heard
Well-
it. Never even. Yeah.
Damn.
Ocean Man was mostly popularized throughout this generation by being the credits song for SpongeBob movie.
Yes.
The SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
That
That's
makes
how
a
I
lot of sense.
That's how I remember it.
Yeah, the show itself was mostly the general vibes of the show were mostly based off of the mollusk. There's also, of course, the
So this
learn
album
how to.
feels like SpongeBob, is what you're
It
saying?
really fucking does.
Yeah.
Nice.
They also, after this came out, Dean and Gene Ween decided to. Well, they didn't decide. They were asked to submit a song for SpongeBob, and that's the tie in your shoes song. You know, you gotta learn how to tie your
Oh.
shoes. It's a very easy thing to do.
Oh God, that was him.
Yeah, yeah, it was them. I gotta stop
I
before I
remember
sing the
that
whole
one.
fucking thing.
Yeah. Fuck.
But
That's a
yeah, it is
throwback.
essential. It is essential listening if you have ever liked SpongeBob, like especially like the first few seasons.
Yeah.
Incredible. Like at track
Yeah.
1, I could just straight up imagine that being from the show. It's like this kind of nervous singing about someone who sounds kind of like SpongeBob, and then there's another singer who sounds kind of like Patrick. Being nervous about the show that they're about to do. It's nice.
That sounds like a really fun vibe for an album.
Yeah, I recommend it high. I haven't listened to it high, but I plan on fixing that very soon.
Ooh,
But
Whenever
it's-
that order gets here, you gotta get on.
Yeah, it's supposed to be coming in Tuesday. The snow delayed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got a
But
little
yeah, like there are a lot that just kind of vibe, and I feel like that would be really nice, while a little bit inebriated. There's the title track, which is track 2, Polka Dot Tail, which is just kind of a surreal kind of vibe. Mutilated Lips was allegedly, and I'm saying allegedly partially because it was allegedly written while on LSD. I'm saying allegedly
Oh.
because LSD is illegal, and
Yeah,
also I
You don't want to get them in
haven't-
trouble.
Yeah, these very small, not very well known people, Dean and Gene Ween. But
You
it's-
picked this album just so you could keep saying that, didn't you?
No, but I really like saying it.
It's a,
It's great.
it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, right?
Yeah, and there's a track a little bit later called the Golden Eel, which also was allegedly written on acid. And again, I say allegedly partially because of illegal, but also because I can't really find a source on these. But it tracks.
Hey, you're
Feels like-
alleging it right now.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's me.
Theoretically,
yeah.
This is from me.
You started the rumor. Let's just
I
say
did.
that. Yeah.
I did.
Tristan started
So,
the rumor.
There's
So-
also
so
a mutilated.
below this video in the description will be a link to the FBI's website.
The
Hey,
tip,
hey!
tip
Listen,
link.
listen, I'm only alleging it because that's cool.
That's right.
Yeah.
if you report Dean and Gene Ween, I'm gonna be very.
Peen.
Yeah, I was gonna say Peen, but I was gonna try to find like a.
By the way to get it. And now
Mean-
Caddy,
yeah, it'll
Caddy
be
just
very,
nailed
it'll
it.
be very mean.
would be
Don't,
very
don't
mean.
be mean.
Yeah.
Leave Ween to Dean and
Bean.
Gene.
Bean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Featuring Mr. Bean.
Featuring Mr. Clean.
Ooh.
And yes.
But continuing the ones that kind of vibe, I think Mutilated Lips in particular, which is I think the first single, it's I think third place for me when it comes to songs on the album. it's definitely one of the better encapsulations of the entire album's vibe. Number one being the obvious one. We'll get to that, but it's also got some crackhead jams, a trademark like Yoni on the Spot, which has like this insane twangy, like fast paced guitar, and then the vocals are just kind of really flat and emotionless. I'll be your Johnny on the spot. I'll be your Johnny on the spot. It's I like that dichotomy. And then like at one point it kind of sounds like they put their keyboard through a bit of a vocoder. It's really sick.
Ooh, I like that.
There's also a couple of sea shanties, and I fucking love sea shanties. And the Blarney Stone is so fucking good. Fucking sharpen your boot and bludgeon your eye, bitch. There's also, immediately after the Blarney Stone, by the way, this fucking, rowdy tavern sea shanty song. It's gonna be, parentheses, all right, which hits so fucking hard.
We gonna be all right.
Not quite like that. It's my second favorite of the album, and it would be the standout if it wasn't for the obvious pick, which we'll get to. It doesn't really fit the vibe of the album, but it's good enough that I don't fucking care. It is genuinely the best breakup song I've ever fucking heard. And it is in the middle of this fuck-ass Fish album. I know what Dean and Gene Ween were cooking. I just want to know how they were cooking. Like, good lord.
Yeah, where that comes from.
How did we get back? How do we get fucking into it?
It's really fucking good.
Well, that's how it's like talented people that just want to goof around a bit, but that's not going to stop them from taking it seriously for a second. Making sure there's a bit of heart in there.
Yeah. Speaking of goofing around, there's a pink eye dash on my leg, which is really, really cool. I like the part where the dog barks and the guy goes, That's the entire song, by the way. There is there's also waving my dick in the wind, which is way too catchy to have that kind of a name.
I dig it.
Yeah. And did I write any notes about the? Oh yeah. So before we get to the obvious track, which is the penultimate track, damn. She Wanted to Leave is pretty nice too. It's a little shanty, and it's not quite about what you might expect. It might be a little bit nautical if you see the thing that might be typically called "She Is Being Stolen." Ooh. But then you get Ocean Man, and Ocean Man's obviously the fucking standout.
Yeah,
I know Ocean Man. You know Ocean Man. Apparently, Caddy doesn't know.
I don't know Ocean Man. Do you know what? I've seen the SpongeBob movie like 3 times, and I don't think that song has ever sat with. I just don't remember it. I honestly I don't recognize it at all. It's really weird.
Yeah,
it's really fucking good. If you haven't heard Ocean Man, just listen to Ocean Man. It's almost beyond description because it's so well known, but it's like this kind of bouncy rolling kind of.
It sounded like 70s Beach Boys to me.
Kind of, yeah, but a little bit more like bubbly, I guess.
This is the only one that I know from Ween, and yeah, I mean, like you hear it through like Kit Boga or whatever, like Ocean Man. Pretty big meme, at least I saw it a lot, and yeah, it's a very fun song. It is. I like the way the guy's voice, I don't know if it's like kind of pitched down or if that's just how he sounds, but it has this kind of like Ocean Man, very deep kind of thing, yeah. And he has a very interesting.
So Patrick sings it.
I guess
not quite. No.
Well, I mean, it gets deep. I get where you're coming from.
He has an interesting like way of speaking too, like saying the lyrics too. He just has kind of it's characteristic, I'll have to listen to more of it.
It's a really
I've
good.
heard this album recommended before and said that it was also kind of prog. So like I don't know if that's true at all.
Kind of. It's got prog elements, I would say.
It's kind of a concept album, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is absolutely a concept album.
Yeah, so that's probably part of it. Well, I like a good concept album, and I like a good Fish, so...
Yeah, so real quick note. I've noticed that guess like strangely, a lot of artists seem to put their their most the track that they're most confident in, either within the first two tracks or the last two tracks. I've noticed that, and I really do feel like the penultimate placement of this track in the album listing is it makes me think that Ween also knew that it was the standout. Like they knew, oh, this is where we were cooking the best. This is our shit.
Yeah.
And like I even looked at like the previous albums that I covered, and yeah, the only artist even that I could find that consistently bucks that is Redvox.
Oh yeah.
Which like usually they'll put their standouts in like the middle.
I'll have to like check some of the albums I listen to just see if that's
like you'll see stuff like Reno and fucking In the Garden and LSR, stuff like that. Ozymandias kind of in the middle, which the only one you really see that happen with my last two tracks thing is What Could Go Wrong, which I feel like Atom Bomb's kind of the standout, the one that they knew would hit best.
Ghost Page I felt like was more of a standout.
Well, it's definitely one of the better songs, but like the quote unquote the hit single,
Yeah.
Shout out to ultimateguitar.com where I wrote the Ghost Page chords thing. So if you want to learn how to play Redvox's Ghost Page, I did it for you.
Hell yeah.
I will say, real quick, I guess, since we're on the topic of Redvox.
Those red boxes.
Allegedly.
So, on the topic of Redvox, just real quick, I want to extend, because he'll obviously see this, a big thank you and good luck and get well soon to Jabroni Mike, the funny bald man, red and bald. He is quit Redvox to focus on his health, which is a damn shame. But good luck to the new guy.
Damn.
Oh,
well, he's a fantastic drummer, so whoever they get to replace him has to be at least as good as him. He's a really underrated drummer, for the for the band. I don't know. I'm not the biggest drum guy personally. I've been watching a lot of Drumeo videos and getting more of an ear for it. But when I hear him, playing, it's more intricate than you'd expect for that type of music. Shout outs to the song fucking Telephone, by the way, from What Could Go Wrong, which has fucking crazy bass line. Just you wouldn't expect that bass line to go as crazy as it does, but it sure does. It do. You don't think it'd be like it is, but
it do.
Yeah, Telephone bangs. All right.
Shout out to Mike, and they took down his fucking Finger Family videos too. That fucking bites.
Damn shame.
Do you know something? Okay, well, I mean, I wasn't aware of this, but I will say, I have met the man once. I spent maybe 20 minutes total with him, and he gave me a lift to a hotel while asking me a million questions about why he was getting really bad brand deals and he didn't realize his worth, and he was just the sweetest, most loveliest, and most New York accent person I'd ever met.
Oh yeah.
Hey Caddy, why ain't I getting brand deals?
Yeah. His fucking
come for me, Caddy.
I remember when he would show up on Vinny streams before he had a channel, and I would just be like, I really hope this guy starts streaming because I love his accent. It's so good.
It's very funny.
It's great.
He's pretty funny.
Oh yeah, get well soon to Mike. Damn.
Yes.
Yeah, we love our bald red Caddy.
Hope you cure that baldness disease you got. Damn. What a shame.
Yeah. Shit.
All right. Caddy?
Okay, right. Okay. I have no idea how I'm going to even start with this one. So we're back on my CADs and ads list. So my top 20 or 30 or 70, however many it is. Yeah, so in my all-time favorites, my next pick is this little thing, which I would be very surprised if anybody had heard of. That's not me being hipster. I'm genuinely curious.
All right.
It is an album called Casanova by a project called The Divine Comedy.
Oh yeah,
most people would.
I don't know that. I do not know that.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so the guy on the front cover is a guy from Ireland called Neil Hannon, and people would Hannon. Yes, you would most likely know him as the composer for the theme tunes of Father Ted and the IT Crowd.
He also sang some stuff on the Doctor Who series 1 and I think 3 soundtrack.
Yes,
that's where I know him from.
Absolutely.
What did he sing on those?
The new version of Song for 10. Love Don't Roam.
He has got one of the
it's
most
just on
unique...
series 1 and 2.
Yeah, you can't mistake his voice for anything else, because I think it's mostly like this album in particular is called Casanova because it's almost about a guy that thinks he's all that and he just is untouchable sex on legs, and it's like the whole album has that kind of smug, arrogant sleaze to it, but it's done in like this kind of hello my dear. It's kind of done that the whole way through, but sung like that as well.
Sort of like a comedy album then? I mean, the title of the project.
It's weird because it's like it's not like directly comedy. I can't fucking describe. There's nothing else that really sounds like it. Like Divine Comedy in itself, just the band, whatever you want to call it. Like they've done loads of albums, but it's just. I mean, okay, I'm looking at Wikipedia right now. Genre: Britpop, orchestral pop. Oh. I wouldn't say it was either. I would sound it was more just it's just orchestra, but with like a drum kit and a very, very, very deep British accent, like opera-y kind of sounding singing. There's nothing else that really sounds like it. Put it this way, I'm gonna just do something quick. The Divine Comedy itself is mostly just Neil Hannon, and then he basically hires everyone else to kind of do the rest. This is
style. Hell yeah.
This is the band for this album. I've put it in the chat. That's the band.
Oh, good lord.
Oh boy.
Wow.
There is somebody credited for the laughing. There is laughing in the songs, and they got somebody in the studio just to do some laughing, and then she was paid, and they said, "Kindly fuck off now, please."
Jesus Christ, that's the number of writers that a Marvel movie has.
Can you flip it on screen?
I know.
Yeah, I'm capturing it.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but I can't honestly describe. It's very, very uniquely itself. Like if I can't compare it to anything. It sounds like novelty when I describe it, and I don't really know how else to describe it. It is like, okay, you've just basically maybe musical theater is the closest thing I could say to describe it. But it has more like Britpop tendencies to it. It's like a hybrid kind of thing. It's very, very difficult to describe. Very difficult to describe. Like this. Is anyone familiar with the Michael Caine film Alfie?
Yes.
No.
So the second track of the album is called "Becoming More Like Alfie," and it's basically like this guy being like, "Oh, I'm becoming more like this guy." And Alfie, in the context of the film, is sex on legs. This guy that no one can keep their hands off. He can't help. I think they remade it, and Jude Law played Alfie. It's that kind of fucking.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that, but like the song is like they use a sample from the film of Michael Caine saying it before it goes in, and then that's like. You've got like kind of pop rock melody chorus and verses, but it's like you've got a little bit of a like an undistorted electric guitar solo in there. You've got the drums, but then like there's French horns as well. I don't know how to describe it. Do not know how to describe it. If you want to give it a try, because I'm not really selling it, but if you want to give it a try, I would say a good place to start safely would be either Becoming More Like Alfie, because that's probably the most radio friendly, and then maybe if you want to go a little bit more ethereal and out there, The Frog Princess is very catchy and also kind of ridiculous. And like you think it's like he's talking about a girl who's a frog princess, and then at some point a guillotine gets involved, and then someone's head gets cut off. It's fucking ridiculous.
shit.
But then
Great.
I would say the most interesting tracks, by far, are Charge and In and Out of Paris and London. In and Out of Paris and London is like multiple time signatures, very, very lyrically deep, very dark, and very intense, and then it kind of opens up towards the end and becomes very majestic and very celebratory, and that's where the horns come in, and it's all just kind of it's theatrical. It's very
like my sort of thing.
It's really weird. It's like if you listen to it, you'd be like, what could you compare it to? I have no fucking idea. I really don't. And then Charge is ridiculous as well because it's talking about like cannons and shit, and then it's kind of got military drums, and then at the end of it he's just screaming, and then there's like it slows down in between gaps in the chorus with the piano, and then it gets loud again, and it's I don't know how to describe it. It's every track stands out, and it all just sounds insane. It's as British as it gets. It's so English. No other person from any other country could have made this album, even though the dude is Irish. But it's just a very British sounding. It's almost like imagine like I don't know.
I apologize on everybody's behalf to all of our Irish viewers.
I'm not getting war crime for this one. It was all him.
Do not please do not fuck around with any cars near me. Thank you.
I don't have a car. I'm good. My neighbor's a bitch, though. Like, you could do so. Anyways.
I would say, like, maybe it would almost be like, how would I did have it a second ago. It's like, imagine that you've gone back to Victorian London, and they just so happen to have modern recording equipment.
Yeah.
This is the kind of music that they would probably do. It's like I can't. It's so weird. It's like, yeah. I mean, okay. I'm looking at just again Wikipedia. Its central theme is sex, around which all of the songs on the album are centered around, except the track "The Dogs and the Horses," which is the last song on the album, and whose theme is death. it's so weird.
That sounds very British.
Yeah.
That's all you need, really.
That's the pursuit of happiness, isn't it? That's what it really is. Just
true.
Constant sex and then dead.
Yeah, I mean, even just the fucking first. Casanova is the fourth studio album by Northern Irish chamber pop band. Like chamber pop. Like what even is that? Like it
became their own genre.
Yeah, it's like rock music with
music that should be in a chamber pot. I don't know.
This doesn't sound very similar to like Cocteau Twins or any other chamber pop I've heard. That's chamber pop, I think, right?
I'm not sure, but yeah, well, you know, if you've got something that you recognize the term chamber pop, then maybe this would sound like it. I don't know, but yeah, it's basically Brit pop rock, but mostly emphasizing melody, texture of orchestra and theater, I guess is the way I'd put it. But yeah,
sort of like the song Eleanor Rigby.
Do you know what? You're not far off. I would say probably. But then, but take Eleanor Rigby and then make it sound more overly snobbery, like British, and then add drums and then a million more horns to it. Like that. It's You're not far off. You're not far off. And yeah, it's like he'll dig into really dark themes, but also it is kind of a parody of itself. It's interesting. Like. It's interesting. And then it's like, oh, it came out in 1996. And it's like, what the fuck else sounded like this in 96? Nothing. It's very unique. Yeah. So that would be in that bit. When it comes to the second in my runner-ups... Oh, sorry. Yeah. So the third, of my runner-ups for this episode that you guys are doing. It's going to be really weird considering what Deadwing just put on. It's going to be very weird. So it's Peace of Mind, Iron Maiden. And what's really weird about that is that, Claw, you actually specifically used the words "die with your boots on." That is a track on this album.
I know!
So
I knew it was
weird.
an Iron Maiden track. I didn't know specifically the album. I'm not that well versed, but yeah.
Yeah, it is. So I'm not like the biggest Maiden fan, but it's like when you want to talk about just like I don't know, do you want what do you call it? It's not speed metal, really, is it? It's just kind
like
of
it's sort of the closest thing that I'd describe to just the term heavy metal. Like just kind of, it's
Just-
not really any deviation. It's just heavy.
Yeah.
But then after this one, like in the later 80s, they got a little more like not really prog, but like synth metal a little bit, kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Seventh Son of a Seventh Son got kind of very synthy and
yeah. It's very classic headbangy kind of shit. Very driving, very chuggy. I guess it's very much like that. Insane vocals, insane harmonic guitars, insane bass playing, insane drumming. I think it's the first album with
this is one of
Nico
the
McBrain.
ones. Oh yeah. This is one of the ones where like, yeah, if you've ever played Guitar Hero, this would have been like one of the 5-star difficulties for like all of the
100%.
instruments.
Yeah,
100%. And if everyone knows the Trooper, like that's from this
That's
album.
like the standout, yeah.
That's the standout. It is a classic. It still holds up very well. Incredible riff, incredible drive. I remember when everyone was listening to this kind of stuff when I was at school, there was always this rumor going around, or whether or not it's true or not, I'm not sure. But Steve Harris, the bassist, whenever he would be doing the gallop, the Iron Maiden gallop, he could do it with 2 fingers, which I wasn't sure if that was true or not. So whenever you listen to the Troopers, like dun 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 dun, he would do that with 2 fingers on the bass, which I didn't know if that was true or not. But if it is, Jesus Christ, clit destroyer. I mean, what else can you say? So there's that. But yeah, classic tracks on here. I kind of go back and forth between this and Number of the Beast, but
Yeah, that was on your last one.
It was. I do go back and forth, and it depends on the mood I'm in. But I would say that Peace of Mind just has much more. It's more polished, I would say. Number of the Beast it can get a little bit too
Raw.
not cheesy, but just a bit too kind of like a bit too over the top, a bit too full of itself. Whereas this is much more just like, stop fucking around, let's play really quickly, really tightly, and talk about going to war and fucking dying. Like it's very intense music.
And now that I talked about Argus, I can definitely see like that's definitely an influence on them, not just like sonically, but like the way that they write their lyrics. A lot of the stuff, I mean, Quest for Fire, To Tame a Land, these are all the types of songs like very.
I've already added it on my backlog. I'm excited to listen to it. I've added it to my backlog. Yeah, very excited to listen to it. Which, by the way, I did do that. I think I've been discording you about this, but I listened to all of Mezzanine, and I listened to all of, what was the other one? There was another one I
Fear
did.
of a Blank Planet.
That was it, Fear of Blank Planet, and that was like, like I would have been so all over that when I was younger, and it's just like, thank God I've discovered it now.
I've been really meaning to listen to that Gran Turismo album you mentioned. I was going to listen to it the other night, but I got caught up in other stuff.
I was gonna say, listening to Mezzanine, it is very similar. I would say it's Gran Turismo is actually maybe a little heavier in terms of like it's much more forceful, I suppose, than because like Mezzanine is very low key for a lot of it. So that would be what I guess. Peace of Mind. It's a great record, great classic 80s without sounding too 80s. If you don't like the kind of sound and the scale of Number of the Beast necessarily, and like if you've ever listened to Run to the Hills and think it's just a bit too operatic and a bit too much, then you've got The Trooper, you've got Where Eagles Dare, Die With Your Boots On, Sun and Steel. You've got a load of really good, straightforward, but also incredibly complex. It's a drier sounding album, but that's what makes it sound much tighter. So I mean, the opening track, Where Eagles Dare, classic fucking opening drum riff. Drum fill opening is classic. I don't know if I pick Where Eagles Dare. Die With Your Boots On is pretty fucking good, but then The Trooper's great as well. So there's a lot of good stuff on there. So absolutely, I would go for that.
Shout outs, by the way, to Run to the Hills. for providing excellent drums for the song that I'm making currently. So
Yes, and that
Yeah.
that was Clive. So yeah, that's Clive Burr. So that was the last Maiden album with the original drummer. So yeah, but yeah, again, very very impressive work on that as well, because it's not easy to do the drumming to Run to the Hills and consistently keep it as tight as it is. It's just constant 16th notes just all the time, and it doesn't stop. And then it's very very good shit, very good shit.
yeah, Nico McBrain's
yeah.
amazing as well. It's just
He
a
is.
shame. It's a shame that he, what was it? He like became like a born again Christian or something, and so they never played the song "Holy Smoke" live, which is like one of my favorite Maiden
Oh
songs.
really? I wasn't aware of that. I mean, if there was ever a band that was going to go down that rabbit hole, like if you look at Iron Maiden's history, the song style and everything, like I'm pretty sure that what's his face, the singer, I forgot, it's fallen off my head now, but
Bruce Dickinson.
yeah, thank you. I'm pretty sure he's like, opinions aside, but like massive Brexiteer, like huge, and it's like,
Oh.
am I surprised? Actually, maybe not, because there is a lot of kind of, we're gonna die with our boots on. It's like, is it theatrical, or do they actually think they fought in World War II, even though they definitely didn't?
You
It's
can wonder that about
I
a lot
still
of metal
remember
bands.
Nam.
Yeah, it's very much that kind of unearned valor kind of thing, and then like feeling it's very, very like a lot of their branding is very like Union Jack and stuff. It's like they're very, very proud English, so it makes sense if you think about it in that weird way. But either way, doesn't take away from the music. Music's fucking ace. So yeah, definitely recommend that. And when it comes to newer discoveries, which might be a surprise considering what maybe everyone knows about my taste so far, but I swear to God, this is very new to me. Images and Words. I have never listened to Dream Theater,
Yay.
Shit.
and it's very difficult to go on to something like Twitter or even Google and be like, where do you start with Dream Theater? No one really has an answer. So
I feel like this is a pretty common answer. I mean, I like their first album pretty well, but it's got a couple good songs, especially, but this one is kind of widely considered. I'd go with Awake personally, but like
that's what I heard that one a lot. And there was one of the other ones that has like a brown cover with a face on it, and it's like part 3 of
Metropolis
something.
Part
That's
2.
the one.
Yeah, that's like their most popular album. I like some of it for sure, but I don't see it as like a full, like, amazing album totally. I don't know, it's fine, like, again, there's some good songs, but I don't love the whole thing.
Yeah, but so because this is it's a new discovery not new discovery necessarily. I've just never felt the need to dive in, even when I was a teenager. I just kind of didn't really do that. But then I was like, okay, Pull Me Under was in one of the Guitar Hero games, 3 or 4, maybe
4.
It was 3.
Yeah,
4. Thanks.
4, yeah.
So it was in, and I remember I played those games back to back all the time, and I remember getting to that part in the campaign and being like, oh wow, this is boring, and I never really got it when I was younger. And then I was like, do you know what though? People, I say I like Rush and I say I like all this stuff. Like, oh, why don't I try something like symphonic prog metally kind of thing? I'm getting into heavier music. Why don't I give them a try? And I was like, you know what? I'll go to the one that has Pull Me Under on it, because maybe I just misread it, or I just didn't remember if I did like it or not. And then I heard it and I was like, what the fuck was I talking about? This is great, And it's really weird. I don't know what my younger self didn't find interesting about it. Maybe it's because I was overly focusing on playing the fucking song properly on the game. I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah, that will do it.
That one is very difficult. If you ever played Rock Band 2, their song Panic Attack is in Rock Band 2. And
yes,
that one
it is
probably a lot harder. I like that song a lot more than I don't know, that album in particular is one of my favorites by them. So I tend to prefer. I don't know, the Images and Words is pretty good. I just don't. Again, it's James LaBrie's voice. It's like he's fine. He's just so high pitched, and I can appreciate it. He's a very talented guy. It doesn't hit for me the way that like Geddy Lee does, though. I don't know. It just comes across kind of annoying a lot of the time. Like one of my favorite albums in terms of James LaBrie singing is the one. I think it's Falling into Infinity. I think it's like the second after this one. It's the Awake was next, and then Falling into Infinity, and that's because James LaBrie had like a horrible shrimp allergy incident or something, and it like fucked up his vocal cords for years. So when they did Falling into Infinity, he had to sing a lot lower. And the songs are consequently a lot less annoying to my fucking ears. But like he's still a good singer, obviously. Like he's very talented. I just think he has that kind of like Mariah Carey singing the national anthem thing, where he's very like like
a lot of vibrato.
So much. The Arion album, The Source. The first song on the album is great. It's The Day That the World Breaks Down. It's great. It depicts the end of the world. But the first singer on the song is a silence so deafening. And I just, shut up, James LaBrie. Get out of here. Fuck off, dude. Like,
do you know what that's? It's you said about Geddy Lee. It's what's interesting is that like I think that's when you're doing that kind of music, maybe you need the power behind the pitch, right? Because you listen you listen to like earlier Rush, you listen to 2112 and stuff, and it's like Geddy Lee's fucking shrieking, and it's like you need that, you need that. And then
meanwhile, every time James LaBrie tries to sing like heavy metal, like there's this performance where they did Master of Puppets in its entirety, and he just sounds like a little boy trying to do his dad's like singing voice. It's not great.
It's so interesting because like Geddy Lee was not against like not doing the power behind his shrieking, right? So it was like you could listen to another great underrated track on 2112 is Tears, which is like one of their only like love songs, which sounds really weird to say for Rush, but it's like it's very low key, very gentle, but when Geddy's not shrieking, it works because there's strings and shit. So it's like, yeah, okay. But then when you're doing something with like, all the heavy riffs and like the drums and everything, maybe you need a little bit more power behind it. But from what I've heard, at least, I'm very, very into it. Very into it. Can't wait to dive more into it. So I can't really recommend any tracks. If I could remember the names of them, I'd be great. But like, I think it's easy to just say Pull Me Under. If Pull Me Under doesn't grab you, then I don't think the rest of it will, because I think that's probably why I didn't listen to Dream Theater all those years ago, because Pull Me Under did not grab me back then. So I just figured, all right, I'm not going to bother with them. So if that track doesn't do it for you, then don't worry about it, I would say. But for me, I came back to it and really liked it.
Fun fact, they had a greatest hits album, I think in like 2006 or something, and it was titled Greatest Hit and 21 Other Pretty Cool Songs, because Pull Me Under was their only actual like hit. It's a good album. I'd recommend. I think the song is Under a Glass Moon is the instrumental track, and if I remember correctly, that's one that I accidentally stole the riff from. Like, I came up with this. I'm like, oh, this is a great riff I came up with. I'm so proud of this. I gotta make it. And then
completely original.
I just listen to this. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what did I do?
Shit.
What have I done?
If there was anything else I could say just before moving on to the next pick, I would say, well, sorry, this is my final for this bit, but before I stop, I will say if you need to know anything else about Dream Theater, all you got to do is look up on YouTube Mike Portnoy playing a Hello Kitty drum kit and playing Name That Tune with Rush songs. It's great. And he all he's got to do is like breathe on the kit and it fucking falls apart, and it's great. So
is that one of those Drumeo ones? Because he's on the
Loudwire, I think it was. He is on Drumeo a lot, but I think it was mostly it was a meme. Yeah, it was mostly a meme. But oh god, it was 9 years ago. I'm looking at it now. Yeah.
Oh god.
Preemptive identity theft.
Damn.
Yeah, amazing. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So like someone says like it's an $80, like they did a SpongeBob version and a Pokemon version and a Hello Kitty, but it's an $80 kit. And he's like, oh yeah, let's play Name That Tune. Like, oh, it's very funny. But yeah, that's all I'll say about that. Moving on, guys. Moving on.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm also gonna get another drink. I can hear you guys, so
All right.
Okay.
Well, do we want to take a quick
We
break?
wanna-
Because
yeah,
'cause
that
I kind of have
sounds
to
good.
like
I could do
pee.
that.
Gotta
Yeah.
take a little piss. Let's reconvene in 5, folks.
All right.
All right.
I
All right.
noticed he walked away, and I feel like I
gotta
should.
mute.
All right. We're back.
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Nice. Hell yeah. All right.
Well, I think it's your turn.
I think we're on claws. Yes.
It's my turn, and it's interesting. Like I said before, I don't like pick these out ahead of time because I wait to see what other people are picking, and it's a good thing I do that because Caddy mentions Dream Theater's Images and Words, and that was the next album after that was the last one to feature keyboard player Kevin Moore, who wrote a lot of the songs. He wrote Pull Me Under, and he wrote my favorite song on Awake, which is Space Dive Vest, which is about a guy who falls in love with a lady in a magazine ad because his life is like broken and he's like a miserable shut-in incel or whatever. And it's from 1994. The song's as old as I am, but it's like weirdly more relevant every day in some ways. But Kevin Moore went on to make another act called Chroma Key, which I haven't listened to much from that. But in 2003, he released his first album as OSI, and OSI is kind of kind of like a heavy Pink Floyd, I guess you could say. Another prog thing, no surprise for me, but very political themed lyrics. It's directly related to the actual U.S. Office of Strategic Influence, which is what OSI stands for. And
Nice.
yeah, the whole first album is all about like George Bush era politics, and there's like voice clips from senators going like, "I understand keeping secrets from the viewer. I don't understand keeping secrets from me." Things like that. And so it's very critical of that era of politics. Very interesting lyrics to that regard. But then it'll also just have like, I know I haven't posted the picture yet, by the way, because this isn't the album. But it'll also have like some weird kind of glitch experimental electronic instrumentation and stuff throughout. So it's like kind of a hardcore, like heavy rock guitars and stuff. Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater also on drums.
Nice.
But then, yeah, like a softer side, a little bit more of like a Pink Floyd side. And yeah, like I say, kind of glitch, electronica kind of vibes in some of the instrumentation, which is very rare for this genre of like prog metal is what they're usually called. Their next album, Free, is another great one, but I decided to go with their third album. Hopefully this sends. There you go. OSI's Blood, which is
I love that video game.
Yes.
it's from 2009, and yeah, it's one of these ones where the album art is effectively how it feels to listen to it. It feels underwater and kind of, I don't know, like there's heavier songs, but it's all got this like sludgy vibe. Not like
Nice.
doom metal, but just like dirty. Like something about it is just kind of dirty and weird. And it'll have songs like let me go through the track list here. It has songs. So the Escape Artist I once played on a music sharing stream thing that was hosted by a bunch of 4chan music board people, and they
Yeah.
referred to this song as Godsmack and shut it off prematurely. So very bad.
Yeah, those people should not be trusted. Yeah, they're from MU.
But it's a very driving, like metal riff kind of song, but it's also very very melodic. I love Kevin Moore's voice. He's not like primarily a singer. He was the keyboardist for Dream Theater, but his voice is just so, yeah, Pink Floydy, very understated. He doesn't scream. He doesn't like growl. He just kind of like, "You act mysterious." He kind of talk sings a little bit. Like it's not very ostentatious. He's not going for. He's the opposite of fucking James LaBrie, who's like screaming for the fucking rafters. This guy is just like, more often than not, a lot of his songs will just be him like almost like whisper singing. It's pretty great. Terminal is this really kind of it's what I mean by like slow paced kind of underwater vibes, sludgy, kind of oppressive. And yeah, he's like telling some story about um I don't even know. I'm not even sure what the fucking lyrics on this album are about. I've listened to it since like 2009. I don't know. It's just abstract and has like a vibe about it. It's that poetry shit where it's like, I don't know what you're going for, but what I'm getting out of it is like interesting. I like it.
I love songs like that.
False,
Open to interpretation.
yeah, False Start is the third track. It's like more of a. This is definitely one of the heavier tracks on the album, kind of just uncompromising metal. There's some, there's some affectations to it. It's got some of that like glitch stuff to it, but it's not the most, overstated thing. We Come Undone, if I remember correctly, is. Yeah, this is one of the ones that's like more soft and more kind of gentle, but also haunting and ominous and very electronic. Again, it's like you get, you know, the keyboard player in a prog metal band. Usually it's like a Jordan Rudess type who's like all over the place doing keyboard solos. You're not getting that here. You're getting like interesting, borderline industrial beats and like echoing textures and stuff like that.
Nice.
And it's not, yeah, it's like much like his singing, he's not like ostentatious show-offy. He's just doing like he can do that. That's how you know he's a fucking good musician. He can play that way. He just chooses not to. He chooses not to, Charlie. And yeah, he just goes for like what I say, like Pink Floyd, more of like a textural. Well, they have a cover on their first album of "Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun," and it sets it with alongside like religious talk show call-in sound clips and stuff, like some lady calling into a preacher man show and saying, "You don't know what you're talking about," and him quickly shutting her off. Like this is all just overlaid with like the thudding orchestral percussion of how they did that. On this one, this is the album. I'll skip ahead a little. This is the album that introduced me to Elliott Smith with their Christian Brothers cover. Elliott Smith is also on my list of albums to talk about. We'll get there, but their cover of Christian Brothers is really. It's like, yeah, I don't know what you do, like alternative metal, I guess. Like it's interesting. It's a very straightforward cover of the original song, but it's also like a completely different song in the same breath. I don't know how they did it. Radio Log is probably the one that I would shout out as like a standout for this one. If you heard the song that I did on Strange Odyssey called fuck, what's it called? It was the second half of. It was the second of third of the Sky Breathing Fire trilogy. There is a big prominent sample from that I took from Radio Log here, and it's this, yeah, kind of electronic, glitchy, like anthem to someone that's traveling or something. I don't know what the lyrics are about, but it's about like, waiting by the radio for a message from someone that never comes, and a very, yeah, ominous sort of thing. Be the Hero, track 6, is more of a typical, metal song. Again, sort of a standard, and not as much of like the gloomy orchestration, but it still has like such a rhythm to it, and it definitely stands out. Its lyrics are very interesting. It seems to be like regarding some sort of military general or something, who has the ability to kill a bunch of people, I don't know if that's what it's going for, but that's what the lyrics, at least on face value, seem to like indicate. This following the story of this like corrupt military general kind of vibe. Microburst Alert, track 7, is one of my favorites on the album. It is the most in the direction of just being like an Aphex Twin song. Not exactly, but like, yeah, it's an instrumental track that seems to be about some kind of explosion. There's like, it's all samples of like, I mean, there's a lot of instrumentation too, and it's got a lot of really cool electronica stuff going on, but a lot of it is samples of like voice recordings of like, what were you doing with your taxi route, your air route, anything else, like just weird stuff. You can't really make out exactly what it's saying and what the lyrics, quote unquote, are, but it's just setting this kind of tone, and then it cuts away into this part where I don't know if it's like air traffic control or whatever, but somebody's just going like, "What are you doing now? Stop! 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 Stop!" And then there's like this big fucking like da 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 da, like that's when like the bass drops basically in the song, and it's very cool instrumental. Love the song Stockholm from track 8, and it features Michael Ackerfeldt from Opeth, one of my favorite singers, and he does some wild stuff on this song. Let me tell you, he sings it. He's not doing any growls or anything. It's just a very beautiful, soft, kind of dark song about like, I interpret it as like a homeless night in Stockholm and how dark and scary it is, basically. It's very, yeah, again, brooding, ominous, kind of I don't know exactly how to describe it. Again, just like electronica, glitchy, Aphex Twin, Pink Floyd mixed with like a black metal tone a little bit on this one. Obviously, Opeth being a black metal, death metal band, kind of prog metal. And then the final track, Blood, of the main set list. Kind of a good one also to listen to just get a good vibe in the whole album. It is just kind of the best feel. Like, I love the sound of the synth on this one. It does sound... I'm a big fan of... Ever since I heard, I guess, like, the Submerged Temple from Metroid Prime 2, but also, like, No Quarter by Pink Floyd, or by Led Zeppelin, the like piano, like warbly, I don't know if it's like a Leslie or whatever it is, the sort of flangey sound on that. I love the sound of underwater music, and Blood has that vibe, this
Like the
song
heavy
in
reverb.
particular. Yeah, the reverb, but just that kind of like, it sounds like you're, I don't know, it sounds like you're in some kind of deep, spooky underwater zone, and it's just like that kind of instrumentation always draws me. And Blood, the whole album has a bit of that vibe, but the song in particular definitely does. I keep talking on and on. I'll just wrap it up by saying
You're
also
fine.
Yeah, spit your shit, King.
there is the Christian Brothers cover on the special edition bonus disc, and it's amazing. But I also have to shout out the song "No Celebrations." It's another one of my favorites from this album. Another different different vocalist. It's Tim Bowness, who's from the band. I believe it's called No Man. I think it also. Yeah, a long-term project formed in 1987 with Porcupine Tree's Steven Wilson. So I've always wanted to check out more No Man, but every time I listen to it, it's just like, I'm just like, no, man, it's just not my thing. But I really like him on this song. I love the main chorus of the song has this line. I often quote it just whenever, like, whenever some shit happens. It's just, the party's over, the host is dead, the great adventure's sick in bed, no celebrations.
I've heard you say that, yeah.
It's a great line. I love it. And so, yeah, the No Celebrations. Definitely check out the special edition bonus disc. But I'm a big fan of all of OSI's stuff. They haven't done an album in over, like, 12 years or something now, so it's a real shame. They used to be one every 3 years up until 2012, and their fourth album is fine. This was their third album. Their fourth album is pretty good. It's got a couple great songs, but most of it's just kind of fine. It definitely goes back to more of the political vibe that the first one had. But yeah, that's OSI. Really, definitely check them out for a different style of whatever you've ever heard from like prog metal or anything like that. Very different from anything. Like the guitars will be similar, the drums, but the vibe of the songs, not really. It's got like some kind of Aphex Twin bug lodged up its ass, and it really
It
really
sounds
adds to
like the way you're describing it. It's almost like a Silent Hill cross with Tool kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that. Definitely has. Silent Hill's a good comparison, actually. It has some like on some songs like We Come Undone and a few off of the first album, and well, on all of their albums, but some of the like slower, kind of more haunting ones definitely have that sort of Silent Hill too. Again, kind of, it's sort of industrial, but like not exactly. It's just kind of like harsh electronica kind of beats and like break beating kind of glitch stuff. Which is just very unusual for this genre, and yeah, it feels, yeah, that's right, like Yamaoka mixed with. I haven't listened to much Tool, to be honest. I'm very Guptil 89 about it. I see some of their titles like Stink Fist or whatever, and I'm like, that's just vulgar. And I'm just like, I don't know, like it seems a little weird to me. I should listen to more because I really like
Doing
Schism,
your
but,
mom?
Oh.
the classic. But yeah, that's my number 3, I guess. Is that 3? I think so.
Yes.
Yep, I think we're on 3.
All right. Mine's going to be a quick one. It is Renegades by Rage Against the Machine. And
I have not yet heard this one. I've been going throue Rage. I haven't heard that one yet.
this one has some good ones. The title is based on one of the later songs, Renegades of Funk. I can speak English. Let me get a drink of water first. Very good song, but there's other stuff like Pistol Grip Pump, which is a fucking stone cold classic. Down on the Street, really good one. Maggie's Farm, I think that was in one of the Guitar Heroes. I'm pretty sure. But then
I know that like Bulls on Parade was in 3. That was on this album, right?
No,
that was
Evil Empire.
Yeah, Evil Empire.
That was Evil Empire. Wink, wink, wink. Nudge, wink, nudge, wink, wink.
Yes. Then you got How Could I Just Kill a Man? Also a good song. This one has no skips. Check it out. It's a fucking good one. I'm gonna let other smarter people talk again. Tristan,
You put Faithful No More with the skips above it.
I mean, but it's not in any order.
Not like order.
I get.
I just ordered them in ones I want to shout them out in.
Fair.
I got another one that has also. I think both the other ones have no skips, but I just wanted to shout it out.
All right. Well, continuing the punk theme and also the political theme, I guess.
This one's one of their least political, but it's still political.
Are you sure?
Oh no! I'm not talking about Bad Religion. I'm talking.
Oh, okay, okay, all right.
No.
All right.
I know what you meant. You're good.
Yeah, I was mostly talking about the OSI and talking about Brexit, stuff like that.
And Rage. I mean, Rage is very political.
Yeah. Just in general, but
yes.
I thought that they. I know. I
very
I don't think you're right.
Band.
I can't believe they went woke.
Yeah.
No, yeah, they did. Yeah, I was really disappointed with them actually. Like when they went woke, I was really upset
now they're
about
Rage
that.
for the Machine.
Yeah, can't believe that they're working for the machine, not fighting it. I can't.
I wonder who they think the Machine is. The people who say that.
That is a good question.
Anyway.
Yes.
So, my next pick is Age of Unreason by Bad Religion. And this is a really recent one. I've only really recently started getting into punk. And holy shit, this is really good. Really fantastic, like heavily politically charged punk album. The first half isn't really quite what you would expect from punk. It's a lot softer, but it's like almost mournful in that way. And I really like that.
Yeah.
But then the second half gets heavier, faster, quicker. Very nice, very nice. And it's a really nice kind of like split album kind of deal, but it is one product. Just kind of going through a few tracks because if I talked about all of them, we would be here all day. The lyricism is so fucking good. Like you can tell that they really poured everything into this.
What sort of themes do they get at in these songs?
We'll get to that. It was released in 2019.
Oh, I was gonna say because I've always known them as like at least I thought they were 80s actually. I don't know how long they've been going on for though. I haven't listened to them yet.
Around that far, I think.
The only
they were at the very least around.
They're American, right? They're an American punk band.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
The only thing I know from them is they had one of my favorite songs in Tony Hawk's Underground, and I don't remember which one it was now. Like I don't remember the name of it, but
they also had a few in Crazy Taxi,
Big Bang, I think
10 in 2010.
Yeah,
good shit. But yeah. So just to go through some of the tracks, My Sanity is so fucking good. It's kind of like a love song to someone's own sanity by a person who is like kind of futilely coping that, oh, I'm 100% sane, I promise. It's just everybody else. It's really, really good. Just bop all the way through. Excuse me. The title track, Age of Religion, is very, very nice. And I had a joke prepped for this, goddammit. And I forgot to prep it. So if you'll give me just a moment to tab over to my personal dump Discord channel, there we go. But yeah, so the title track's great. If you couldn't guess from the title, it's comparing Thomas Paine, the writer of Age of Reason, to a certain unnamed American politician who was active in 2019.
yes.
And by that, I mean Peter Quinn, the mayor of Bald Head, Maine. Thomas Paine told the truth, but Peter fucking Quinn, you're a liar. You're a fucking liar. You're the mayor of Bald Head, Maine. Look at all that fucking hair.
Yeah.
Liar.
I know every word you're saying, and I'm sure you're right.
Yeah.
You had like 100 years to lose all that hair, and
I know.
Up. You done goofed it up.
You do it with Nair very easily.
He's ancient.
Yeah. No other politician.
Yeah.
I'm well on my way to getting where he is
look at
now, like already. Yeah.
Oh, the moment it goes this far back, I'm just getting someone to shoot me. I'm jumping in front of a bus.
Thankfully, I've got pretty nice hair.
Yeah.
Although my forehead's a bit big.
No bald spot, we're good.
No, guys, I'm not going.
Oh no, I saw a bit of a shine there.
Oh god.
Anyway,
I got a bald spot. It's back here. It's really
Look,
starting to happen. I'm going
guys,
full
if you're losing your hair, it means you've got more T in your body, and that is
true.
So,
It also means we might be able to get a sponsorship from Keeps. So just keep that in mind.
Censor that word. we don't want to give them free promotion.
Yeah, no free clap this bitch.
Just a really quick banger line from the title track, Age of Unreason. Sort of.
Yes.
I forget what part of the song this is. I didn't write it down, and I'm very sleepy. Only slept for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
But it goes, as a child that plays for fun, with his eye up to the barrel of a gun, watching fools believe is one in this unrepentant age of unreason. Ooh. Banger. Fucking banger.
That's pretty good.
Do you know what I think? I think that Bad Religion could really do with something from the sponsor of today's podcast, BetterHelp.
Yes.
We are not sponsored by BetterHelp, just to make that perfectly clear.
Hey, they won't know that until they look in the description.
By these specific sunglasses, not the brand, not the maker. These specific sunglasses. They gave me $2.
Sponsored.
The sunglasses themselves did.
Sponsored by this weird vape that I bought one time.
I'm sponsored by these delicious cookies I'm eating that shall go unnamed because they're cool like that. They just want me to mention that I've got delicious cookies.
Yes.
Hell yeah. People are going to ask you themselves, and you get to tell them personally.
Exactly.
And I promise that I'm not sponsored by McDonald's. I promise. I honestly promise.
I promise I'm not sponsored by this weird hand grenade weed grinder that I've got.
Oh hell yeah!
Well, that's just
Dudes
cool.
rock.
Yes. Hell yeah.
But I guess going on. Geez, what punk guys we are talking about our brand deals.
Yes.
But
Hang on, I dropped my anarchy symbol. Yeah.
Anarchy symbol next to
hang
my
on,
Marlboro coat.
let me real quick just brush away that fucking major soda brand that's right there.
This premium cigarette brand that I'm about to
Loving
smoke.
this old Milwaukee here.
That's old.
So,
It can't be a brand. Sorry.
I guess going on. There's also Candidate, which is another certified banger. It's the last track, I'm pretty sure, on the softer part of the album, and I really wish that I could just go off on this.
Yeah.
But a couple of my last few just go so hard, and my writing for them is so long that, well, at least one of them. I really don't want to spend too much time on it, so I'm skipping over a few of these. But Candidate is also about a certain unnamed American politician with really, really, really well written, like metaphorical lyrics.
Okay.
It's very, very nice. I recommend both of those. My Sanity's a little bit faster paced if you want that. It's still not quite what you would expect from punk, but that just makes it a little bit more accessible.
Yeah.
Candidate's a little bit slower, a little bit like, a little bit softer. But everything's written so fucking well. And it's all about a certain unnamed American politician who will now go named. It's fucking obviously Trump.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder why I started liking
They
this one
made
right
the
now.
album about me. They made it
They
about
really
me.
did. They really did. I'm so flattered. They said I have bloody lips and makeup. That I've always wanted to say that about myself, and now I get to.
Very bigly album. Very bigly album.
Oh, I love the word bigly. I wish that dude was just a comedian. It would be so great.
For real.
Yeah. If he was just insulting Jeb Bush 24, if they could have their own talk show, it would have been just them two.
We just need him as the jester at every debate. It would be great.
Have him
That's
dress
what
up
he
like a
was.
young player.
Best part about him.
Make him dress up like Cicero from Skyrim.
Yeah, and then it's just cut to the commercial break. It's like, we're gonna go over to Vance now, and he's just fucking the sofa, and then back to Trump. It's gonna be great.
Hell yeah!
Balls deep.
All right, Caddy, you're up.
Pushing deep.
I just checked. I go way the fuck off on one, but thankfully the rest aren't too long.
I would love to say that this isn't relevant, but funnily enough, it actually kind of is. That is a really good segue. So, in my next 4 favorite albums of all time, speaking of balls deep, we have Electric Six, Fire.
Oh, yeah.
This album changed my fucking life. I was debating whether or not to put it in my newer discoveries or just favorites, but the more I've listened to this, it's solidly in my top 20, solidly.
Nice.
But if no one's heard Electric Six before, the best way I can describe it, it's Bee Gees mixed with Foo Fighters and also gay. That's the best way I can describe it.
Hell yeah!
I mean, they have a song. One of the songs is literally titled "Gay Bar."
This was what would happen if the Bee Gees and fucking Foo Fighters were gay.
Yes, I can't really. It's very hard to describe in that sense, but it's like hard rock funk disco. It's like Red Hot Chili Peppers, but comedic. I mean they are silly already, but it's deliberately just in your face. Music videos are mental. Like the music video for Danger High Voltage is hilarious.
It's
really
just
good. Yeah, there's. I mean, even the Gay Bar music video, the lead singer, who by the way is called Dick Valentine. By the way,
nice.
He spends the whole video dressed as Lincoln for some fucking reason.
Fun fact. Also, Jill Valentine's father's name.
No way.
Yeah, that's Jill.
Oh my
Say
god.
Hello.
That's great.
I mean, it's better to have that than a dick sandwich, I guess.
Yeah.
So you've got
Jill stuff.
Hell yeah.
Oh, you do.
I have a lot of Jill stuff.
Do you have a Jill sandwich?
I do not. I'm gonna have to make myself one. I don't know what the ingredients are aside from Jill.
Jill.
Well,
I was
I
gonna
can't
say,
really get access.
You
to
can
her.
take all 3 of those and sandwich them together and make them a Jill sandwich. There's a flat one.
True.
Just saying.
I'll do it
Oh
later.
god. But yeah, no, this is a fucking corker of an album for a random word Englishism. It's just really weird. Like, I don't even know what. Like, I'm gonna just read the personnel here. Like, Dick Valentine, vocals, lead guitar, the rock and roll Indian,
Okay.
rhythm
All right.
guitar, Serge Jobot, bass, disco.
Yep.
Disco plays the bass.
Concept of disco.
The
Hell
whole-
yeah.
And my
The spirit of
favorite,
disco.
drums, M. The letter M
The letter
plays
M.
the drums.
There he
letter
is, boys.
anime.
There he is, the drummer for Electric Six.
Oh boy.
M. It's very tongue in cheek, it's very over the top, it's very silly, it's very self-aware, but also it rocks the fuck out and is so confident that you can't not love it. I would say even like do you know what? I'm just going to say it. Gay Bar, if anyone is homophobic, listen to Gay Bar, and if you don't like it, then that just goes to prove you are beyond help.
Yeah.
Like
Watch the video.
Yeah.
When you get to the
Like,
part where a
Watch gay
gerbil's
porn and listen to it, and there you go.
when you get to the point
Exactly.
when you get to the point where a
Just fill
gerbil's
your
crawling
goon
through a
cave
tube,
with
then
penis.
if you don't like it at that point,
Absolutely.
then you won't.
And I think the
Listen,
great
you
thing
just
is
wanna-
I
you
don't
Take this.
I
and
don't
go,
even know if like the singer, the members, I don't even know if they are gay or anything. But
I don't think they are. It's a good song.
It's yeah, but like so yeah, you've got that. There's so many fucking bangers on this album. So many. Like even Gay Bar is just gonna. I think it's gonna go down in history as one of the all time 2000s rock classics. It's 2 minutes 20 seconds. It knows exactly what it wants to
Hell
do.
yeah.
The live performances of the time are even better because they just get shoutier and shoutier and way more hardcore. Jesus Christ, there's a brilliant thing. I think it was on Jules Holland, but they went on stage in the UK with Danger High Voltage, which is another great track. And
It is.
and during the sax solo towards the end, the singer Dick Valentine just stares at the camera and doesn't move and just smiles. And the camera just gets closer and closer and closer to his face while the sax solo goes on. It's
Is
so
it like a
good.
Kubrick stare, or is it like a genuine smile?
I would say it's like Joker stare. I would say. I would
Oh.
say, like it's properly demented. Properly demented.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and but like that. I guess that's the best way to describe the whole album. It's demented. It's demented. They keep talking about nuclear war. They keep talking about
Nice.
fire. They keep talking
Nice.
about sex. They keep talking about discos. They keep talking. There's a track on here, "Naked Pictures of Your Mother." Great track.
Hell yeah.
It's like it's too.
You heard it here first, guys.
Yes.
Caddy loves naked pictures of your mother.
He really
Yes,
does.
in brackets. Yes,
brackets.
naked pictures brackets of your mother. Like we got the parentheses there. You got to make I don't really know what else to say. It's a life-changingly very it's probably the most confident album I've ever heard. It's just like it knows exactly what it wants to do. It's like, hey, does hard rock crossed with disco sound a bit stupid? Yes. And this is a stupid album. Let's make a 1-minute song called Nuclear War on the Dance Floor. Fucking go for it. And
Hell
it doesn't stop. It does not stop. It's great. There's too many good tracks to mention, but if you want to give it a try, Gay Bar is a classic. Danger High Voltage is a little bit more low-key for what the rest of the album's like, but it was the other single. It did really well, but it is still a great one.
Yeah.
Get Gay Bar, that one. And I would also say Improper Dancing, which probably isn't one of the better tracks on the album, but it has easily the best silence. Like you know when you're listening to a song and there's a stop and there's a silence and then it carries on, right?
Yeah.
I hate those because my fucking Bluetooth always turns off a little bit to save battery.
Yeah, okay, I see. Yeah, so
Yeah, listening
this-
to Brain Stew is rough.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, so improper dancing, and it's in the final. Like if anyone wants to go on YouTube quickly and listen to it, it's in the final like 20 seconds of the song, so you can't miss it. But they're just doing the instrumental, and it's all great. I mean, the whole song is great anyway. So I'd say listen to all of it. But at the very end, they're just doing the instrumental to the out, and then Dick Valentine comes in at the end of one of the bars and goes stop, and then there's the silence, and then there's the on the beat. It's like stop. Continue, and then they keep going, and it is the best fucking
Nice.
shit. It's
That's
so
pretty good.
fucking good. It's hilarious, and yeah, it's just a very funny, very confident, very hard as fuck rock, disco, gay, funky album, and it's too ridiculous and
It's pretty
too. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant album. Could not recommend it enough.
I did want to shout out when you're talking about the bandmates' names. I was thinking of have you ever heard of Here Come the Mummies?
No,
Okay,
actually.
it's a funk rock band, and they're all are very anonymous. They don't like go by their real things. But some of the band names are Mummy Cass, Eddie Mummy, KW Tut. One of them's just called Finger Bang.
Nice.
Mother Load. but it's like puns and shit. But they got some really good songs. I'll recommend Dirty Minds by them. I think you'd actually really like that. But
Yeah, I'm on it.
I will link that to you after this. But
Please do.
But yeah,
yeah,
pretty good.
that sounds great. Before I move on to the next one, I will just say that I'm looking at the critical reception for this album. Rolling Stone called this album this summer's most brilliantly demented party record. Couldn't agree more. It is brilliantly demented. It's is the lead singer doing a voice? Why is he talking about Taco Bell? Why does he keep saying fire? Why does he keep saying disco? Why does he keep saying nuclear war? What's going on? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the theme is. I don't know what the point is. It's just great.
Well,
So
I'm
yeah.
sorry to inform you, Caddy, that the premier music review website Pitchfork gave it a 4 out of 10, sweetie.
Well,
Unfortunately, your album ain't
damn.
shit.
Aw.
Sorry.
damn.
it's because it's a pitchfork, the devil. They saw the fire on the cover and they just got a bit jealous. They were like, that's
Yeah.
supposed to be for me.
Yeah, they didn't know how to handle that.
No,
They
Pitchfork
didn't.
always gives fucked up reviews to everything. I always look. It's either them or Robert Christgau if I ever look
Oh
up
my
an
god, I
album.
love that guy.
It's always like 10 out of 10s and then a C minus. Fuck
The,
you.
the Armand White
Uh,
of music criticism.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, honest to God. It's like, it doesn't, and half the time you'll look at like some of his historic reviews, or if it is a person, I think it's a website or a person, I have no idea. But like, he'll have like an E on like an all-time classic record, but there'll be no review. It's just, it's E, deal with it. It's like, yeah, all right. Okay.
I don't
Alright,
got no
buddy.
words for this, man.
You just want the engagement. I almost respect it, but
Yeah, big dick energy. And so is Fire by Electric Six. Massive dick energy, huge dick energy
Yes.
even. Yeah, I mean, the music video for Danger High Voltage, when the sax solo kicks in, the sax solo is being played by an old woman in like burlesque lingerie, and her boobs are turning on with neon flashes.
Nice.
It's Electric Six. Nothing more to say. Let's go on to runner-ups. Next in my runners-up is Boo-da-ba-doo. A little bit maybe cliche. I don't know. Are You Experienced? Jimi Hendrix Experience.
ooh.
So this is, is it the debut? I think it's the debut. I could be completely wrong about that, actually, now that I think about it. But it's just like, everyone talks about, Hendrix being one of the greats and everything. Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe there's an argument to be made there. I don't even know if I'm in that camp. I just think this is a very fucking great album. And I listen to it and I'm like, how the hell was this done in like 1967 or whenever it was? 66, 67? It's like, it's so out there for what it is. And then you listen to stuff like, not on this album, but like, you listen to like Voodoo Child and it's like, that's heavy shit. And it's like, I don't know how many people were pushing the envelope like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But then I personally am more just interested in mostly the drumming, to be perfectly honest, because first of all, the name of the guy is Mitch Mitchell, which is fucking brilliant. And also, just I don't know, I don't know if he'd be underrated or overrated, but like, just like the drumming on the album for again late 60s. It's like nobody was doing this kind of shit. Super super over the top, quick, jazzy, but also rock. And I mean, yeah, it's innovation in an album, I suppose, is the way to put it. It's like a lot of the stuff that people take for granted now with rock music, blues music, anything. Like a lot of it stems from this kind of thing, and it's just weird how it's like they're actually technically an English band, which is also the weird thing as well. Like everyone, Hendrix is, I'm pretty sure he's American, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he is.
I remember,
But, like,
I'm pretty sure he is.
Yeah.
I think
But
so.
like
70% certain.
but it's like like the album debuted in the UK, and the other two members of the band, Mitch Mitchell's definitely British, but I don't know about the other guy. But yeah, no, it's just weird, and I don't know really what else to add to it other than what everybody knows. You want to listen to a track from it? I would say "Hey Joe" personally. I think that's a great track. "Fire" is a great track as well, which is funny because that's the album that I was just talking about. But yeah, there's just not, it's "Fire," but there's no gay bars in it. So sadly for them, sadly.
Yeah, we're sadly gonna have to judge every single album from now on based on.
You're gonna have to
whether or not
compare it
has a
to Gay Bar,
yeah.
the greatest single of all time. I'm
Also,
sorry.
I will shout out Electric Six did an album called Mimicry and Memories. That it was like a Kickstarter thing, but you can find it on YouTube. It's a bunch of good covers. Sorry, I had to mention that.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I will link you to some of them also.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, we'll do. Yeah. I mean, again, it's almost the same with, I talked about Paranoid and Abbey Road. There's only so much you can say. I'm just I'm just repeating what everyone's already said. But there is something I will mention, and it does link back into the drums purely because that's just, I am a drummer and I notice these things and I'm interested in drumming history. And yeah, Mitch Mitchell, very, very, very underrated. In terms of like, in history, it's like, oh yeah, that kind of period. People are talking about Ringo and people are talking about John Bonham with Zeppelin in the late 60s, early 70s. And then there's this guy just fucking losing. Oh, well, I mean, I guess as well there's Keith Moon, but I don't know. Fucking listen to the drumming in like this album and compare it to any of the Who stuff. I think it shits on it personally. Anyway, controversial statement, but whatever. But something I really do like is that in Hey Joe, I couldn't tell you when it happens, but there is a bit when I want to say it's after I don't know, it might be the bit just before the solo, but there's a drums fill in it and you can hear Mitch Mitchell hit the edge of the tom with the stick, and it makes a really audible click noise, and it's like, oh my god, they left it in. It's like he was playing so quickly and he hit the fucking wooden end of the stick on the end of the drum, and they just kept it in. And it's like, just that level of rawness and that level of, like they recorded this, they actually played the instruments. It's human. And it's just great. Classic shit. But yeah, I put it in runners up just because, it wouldn't be in my top 20, but definitely runners up. So
to Jimi Hendrix almost being a member of Emerson, Lake and Palmer and Hendrix, presumably.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't remember the whole story, but I heard it recently. Yeah, supposedly he was almost in line to be in the band, and then just something didn't work out, or I guess it might have been just because he died, perhaps. But the future in which that happened would have been
pretty wild.
That we would have solved world hunger by now, honestly.
Fuck.
Do you know what? I'm gonna, before I move on to the next thing, I'll end on a random little tidbit of info as well. Jimi Hendrix was one of the first people to hear the track Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles. He was one of the first people to hear it and liked it so much that he learnt it by ear and then played it live. So the first ever live performance of Sgt. Pepper was Jimi Hendrix, because obviously the Beatles were.
I did not know that.
Yeah, you can. I think there's a short clip of it you can find on YouTube, but like,
that's fucking wild.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, and it's obviously in that kind of, that really heavy, drony 60s voodoo child styled Hendrix sound while he's doing the singing. It works really well, I think. But yeah,
Take a listen to that. Also,
definitely check it out.
Listeners, keep a pen in Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Ooh.
I wonder why.
Ooh, all right.
Is it about Trump?
Yes. Probably not for the reason you're thinking.
Ooh.
Oh.
All right. Now I'm curious.
But for the reason I'm thinking, because it's not going to be mentioned. Okay, cool. And
yeah, Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band will never be mentioned again.
never once.
Another time.
Yeah. Okay, and then going on to newer finds for me. I honestly changed this at the last possible minute, and I will explain why. This is, which I didn't know, it was the debut album from Nina Simone. I am new to Nina Simone. I had no idea this was the debut album, but the track My Baby Just Cares For Me is a fucking classic. If you've never heard it, absolutely listen to it. Absolutely. I don't know if it's one of her most popular songs, but looking into the album after I heard it, because I loved that track and I heard the rest of the album, and I was like, oh yeah, this is like vibes before there was a word to describe vibes. It's a very, very chilled, very melancholy, very, very sometimes very bouncy album. But what's crazy about it is that it was done in 1957, which is like, I don't know why that's crazy to me, but it's like I've always thought of Nina Simone as like a 60s singer or something. I'm not sure. And then it's like, okay, so this is the debut album of one of the most legendary soul, gospel, blues, jazz singers of all time, and it's played flawlessly. It was recorded in 1957, and the whole album was just recorded in a jazz club live in one go. Like, it's just a live performance.
Shit.
It's a live.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a live album.
Oh,
it's a
fuck,
live album.
I'm reading that in there. It's as played in an exclusive Side Street Club.
Oh,
Holy
yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
cool.
crazy. And then you listen to it, and it's like, not only does it sound amazing for 1957, but it's just got a mood to it. And I put it in this spot very last minute because what was sitting there was Nancy Sinatra's How Does That Make You Feel, which I, again, new to Nancy Sinatra, really love the sound of that. Reason I've swapped between the two is because they both kind of fall under the genre for me of moody lady music, which is great. I love moody lady music. It's good shit. And
Yeah, this sounds like something that would have influenced Portishead and some of that stuff.
Absolutely.
In the 90s.
And if you listen to oh no, sorry, not How Does That Make You Feel? How Does That Grab You is the Nancy Sinatra album I was talking about. But what made me change at the very last minute is because I find this album far more impressive. It's way older as well, and that Nancy Sinatra album is, it's mostly just covers. It's a little bit safe, I suppose, but it's still a good listen. But yeah, the main difference being, like, you listen to Nancy Sinatra and then it's like, oh, so this is where Lana Del Rey gets it from, and then you listen to Nina Simone, and then you hear that in everything R&B. Like, you can just hear all the influences, the sampling, the way it's all done, and it's just very cool to hear the origins and hear it being done so flawlessly and so, yeah, like, just moodily. It's just the album's called Little Girl Blue. That's the name of the album. It's just a very low key. You listen to it. If you've got it on vinyl, ideal. But, like, you can just put it on, put a fire on, and then be like, okay, I'm in a jazz club right now. Get some cigars.
Nice.
Get the smoke box the fuck out of the room, and then there you go. It's all ready to go. You have got the full experience. So yeah, I'm definitely interested to go into more Nina Simone. Absolutely. Yeah, really good shit.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Sounds great.
All right, and number 3? Or was this number 3?
Yeah, I think this is number 3. If I remember right. I might be going insane.
I think
Yeah, this is 3.
I'm
We
on
talked
my
about Gay
fourth.
Bar.
Well, no, I mean,
I'm on
like,
my fourth.
on your third set of albums. Yeah, this is your third.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was my third.
Yeah, because
yes,
we talked about Gay Bar. All
Yeah.
right, so
Take you to a gay bar. Gay bar. Let's start a war.
In the
It's such a good
interest of not exclusively picking prog rock albums, I'm gonna pick this one that I sent this one to you, Tristan. This is 07's album Simple Things. I think that they're British. So you're responsible for this, Caddy.
Mm.
This is
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for every British band that's ever existed. I'm really sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This was a band that I found at a time when I was looking for music that wasn't rock, but wasn't like. I wanted something that was like chill and melodic, and I found it. I wanted something that felt kind of. Well, the term for it's sometimes called trip hop, this album, but like more broadly, I think people refer to it as just a down tempo pop album. And it's definitely it's orchestral at times. It has it's from 1999. It has the sort of 90s it has that sort of pop vibe at times. It's features Sia, famed
Nice.
autism movie creator Sia. It features her,
Yeah.
and she's a great vocalist on the album. Her along with the other lady, I forget her name, who does In the Waiting Line. They're a really great set of voices for the album, because Zero Seven is, I think, two guys. And let me look this up actually here, make sure I got all my info here. Zero Seven is, yeah, it is a musical duo consisting of Henry Binns and Sam Hardiker. And neither of them, I think in one song on their third album, one of them sings, but it's like a very short song, and it's the only time that happens. I'm pretty sure. Maybe on their fourth album. I don't know that one as well, but this was their first album, and yeah, it's an interesting contrast to the trip hop that I wound up finding because of this. Because like I found this and I'm like, what's more music like this? And people were like, oh well, Portishead, Massive Attack, whatever. And at first I didn't like Massive Attack because it was like really dark and edgy and ominous, and yeah, like it had this kind of, it was very spooky, and I don't know, I didn't it felt a little abrasive at first, but I got into it. But this album by contrast is very optimistic. The best way I would describe this, it has the vibes of the Sims 2 soundtrack, which is
Okay.
Hmm.
exactly what I was looking for. It's like that if it had more vocals and more of like a beat to it.
Vocals not in Simlish.
I was just gonna say in Simlish, yeah.
Yeah. So
Gibble
the
gobble
album,
zoobledop.
a lot of the album is vocal stuff, like singers. There's the song I Have Seen, which features, I never knew it was a cover actually, but I guess it is. It features a guy named Moses doing the singing on that one. He's a very deep voiced guy. It has a very warm. Yeah, I want to say his voice has a very warm sound, because the second Zero Seven album had a song called Warm Sound that he sings on, so that's what I think of. But it's true, his voice has a very warm sound, and it's a very chill kind of song. I interpolated the bass line from I Have Seen also for one of the Sky Breathing Fire tracks that I did, and I meshed it together with that Radio Log song by OSI, and with a song by Opeth as well. So that's one of the ones with vocals. Apparently, that's a cover from The Peddlers. But about half of the album is instrumental stuff. The song Polaris is instrumental. The fourth track, Give It Away, I think that one's instrumental. Simple Things, the title track, instrumental. Red Dust, I'm pretty sure that one is instrumental. I mean, a lot of these are. Um, and I might be mistaken on some of these. Give It Away, I think, might have a vocalist, but about half of the album is instrumental, and I think I actually like the instrumental songs in some cases more than the vocal ones. I mean, those kind of feel like they're like the main event songs, I guess. Like we value vocals in a way like instrumental music is somehow less valuable, but people like, it's got lyrics, so it's like more of a real song. At least that's how I've
Yeah.
interpreted things, and sometimes I feel that too. Like, but I can't feel that with this band because my favorite song by them is from their second album, which overall is not as strong as this one or their third album. But the song "Look Up" is an instrumental one mostly. It's got, again, it's very like Sims or Sim City coded. And it has like vocalizations in the form of a lady going like da 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 da, but that's like all you got. It's not like lyrics or anything. And yeah, like when I was looking for SimCity 4 style music, like a full album of SimCity 4, kind of jazz, pop, orchestral, with a bit of like a hip hop vibe, down tempo. Yeah, this is what I got. And the big standouts for this one, the first one I ever heard from this album was In the Waiting Line, which is a really chilled out vocal track, very singable, very, very fun, cool song. But I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I'm gonna get weird with it. Well, no. I'll say, yeah, check out In the Waiting Line. Maybe check out, yeah, Simple Things is one of the vocal tracks. I just remembered the way that, every day. Yeah, that's that one. Check out, like, yeah, In the Waiting Line, but also check out the song Likufanele, which is like a blend of African instrumental stuff and like tribal chanting shit. Really interesting stuff. I'm not sure what the language is, but they're singing their hearts out about Likufanele, Likufanele.
Is it Miku or Liku?
Yes.
Likufanele.
Yeah, I was about to say that I'm a little surprised that Caddy ain't laughing because it sounds a bit like a really fancy way of saying "like your funny,"
Kinda
which is a
does.
lot funnier to him than it would be to us.
Likufani. Yeah.
It's very funny. I promise you, it is. It's very funny.
It's a nice song. It's very like upbeat. This album is notable for like having a lot of like instrumental solos. Like you don't get that so much like in, I don't know, pop music or trip hop or anything that you could classify this as. I don't see a lot of. There's like the Massive Attack song Angel on Mezzanine that has a guitar solo. There's a guitar solo in Glory Box by Portishead, but by and large, you don't get a lot of like solos. And here it's not so much guitar solos, it will be like synthesizers, it might be a flute, it might be even just bass, like really intricate bass fills or whatever. But it's yeah, I mean, it was definitely what scratched the itch that I got from playing a bunch of SimCity and Sims 2 and stuff. And like, man, I want more just kind of, chill like orchestral pop kind of jazz, whatever you call that, like genre of like sim music is basically what I. And you know what? If you're racist, the African song Liku Fanele sounds like Simlish. So there you go.
Oh god.
Oh,
I'm glad you went in a different direction with that. 'Cause
Guys, like, hang on here. Hold up.
the special edition, by the way, the US edition bonus tracks, I have to really both of them are very good. I believe Saltwater Sound is I think that's the instrumental one, and then Spinning is a really nice vocal track. It's one of the band's tradition of like their third album did this as well, where it'll have like amazing songs that are just cut from the main thing, and for whatever reason they're like bonus edition tracks, and I'm like, this is the best song on the album. Why is this here and not like replacing like the third track that's just kind of okay? I don't know. I don't know, but both of those might as well just be main tracks in the album, even though the final song is called End Theme. Whatever. There's two after it. They're the expansion packs, so it's great.
yeah, DLC.
Yeah, so check out Simple Things by 07. The Garden, I would also definitely recommend. That's their third album. The second album, check out Look Up and, listen to it. There's some great songs on it, but it's another one of those ones where, like, as a whole, doesn't really work out as well for me as the first and the third one. And then their fourth album is, it's kind of worse than their second. It's just fine. They kind of update their sound. It gets a little too modern. I don't know. Modern as of 2009, whatever that means. So, but yeah, 07. They haven't done anything, I don't think, in a while, but hopefully they can return to the magic.
All right.
Bane, I understand you were combining a couple of yours.
Yep, I'm doing my 4 and 5 right now. I'm just kind of knocking them out because I'm looking at the time and I realize, want to get these on. So the first one I got here. Oh, go on. I thought I heard someone say something.
What's happening? What's going on?
No.
Okay,
I'm losing it. It's making you hallucinate.
I'm losing
Someone's
it.
dying.
I'm losing it.
Yeah. Maybe we've been doing this too long.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
So this
That's the
one.
thing. We've only really been at it for like an hour.
No. This is.
Oh wait, no.
You're looking at the wrong thing. This is.
Yeah, my brain.
Your brain's a little mush.
My brain stopped working.
313. Goddamn.
With a pause, it's 253 for me. But so this one is Another Eternity by Purity Ring. This is a Witch House album. It's really good though. All of these are really good. The ones I'll recommend probably would be Sea Castle. It's the one that was on a lot of advertisements for a little bit there. Or Stranger Than Earth, because it starts off as one song and ends as a completely different other song. And it's fucking good. The second one I've got is Era Vulgaris by Queens of the Stone Age. And this one, if you've played Guitar Hero or Rock Band, you've played 3s and 7s. It was on there. But Turning of the Screw, I'm Designer, all of those are really good. Make It With You, which there's also a really good remix of, but it's not on the album. There is a really good remix from Hot Chip of I'm Designer on the album. The title track is fucking great. It's a banger. I really don't know what else to say other than Queens of the Stone Age is really good. Songs for the Deaf also is really good. This is one I wanted to shout out the most, if I'm being honest. And, that's kind of all I got for tonight.
So, all right.
Yes.
Give me a sec to
all recommendations.
Put on my Doctor Who talking about scarf.
Yes.
Ooh, fucking freezing in this house.
Oh, it's gonna get
I was actually just gonna say, like, you doing 4 and 5 together and everything. I didn't even realize I've got to be up tomorrow, and it's like 2:20 in the morning here. So I'll do my final bits here, and then we can carry on. I can get back much sooner than the gap of wait between last time. So don't worry about that. I won't disappear again. I promise.
You're gonna.
I gotta eat some dinner too, so we can wind this down.
Yeah. Do you want to?
Damn, I still have 3 whole fucking albums.
Okay.
All
So
right.
we'll do one last one, basically.
One last go around.
Well, with what Caddy has, and then Claw would finish up.
It's you, Tristan next, and then Caddy. And
I'm last.
Okay.
I'm last. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, we'll just wrap it up for this episode, and then
just record a part 2.
We'll do a follow up later.
Record a part 4, I guess.
Yeah, part 4.
This
yeah.
is part 3.
It just kind of feels like we haven't really talked about as many albums.
I mean,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
It was partly Google Chrome's fault for fucking binning my list. So we started a bit later.
Over quantity, people.
We'll do this again soon.
Yeah, we'll do it much sooner. We'll do it much sooner.
I'm gonna move something up the schedule, so I'm gonna have to find out. Oh, I can just close the tab from here. Sick.
Oh shit, nice. Alright. But yeah, no, remind me. Okay, I remember to send you those one links later, Caddy. Yes. There's some really good covers on that album. Yes.
So, if you guys remember, I told you to put a pin in Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Yes.
You're mentioning it.
And
I think
yes, I lied.
Oh my god. Oh.
Give me a sec to scroll down to where I'm talking about this thing. Okay, so y'all might also remember yesterday when we were supposed to record, but some scheduling stuff happened. It's all good. But I put up a little poll telling y'all to choose a song.
I did. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I think I said Dancing Queen. What was their choices?
I said
Dancing Queen. Yeah, Dancing Queen and Let It Be.
I think I also danced.
Oh, no, fucking dumb. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
So, my pick is Sergeant Pepsi's Thirsty Hearts Club brand.
Is that Pepsi Blue in the middle? Yeah.
Pepsi Blue, Black, Gold, Pink.
It's just Russia Coke cans. Fuck the system.
Oh.
And now,
Yo.
without further ado, I'm going to play you a wonderful sample of Sergeant Pepsi's Thirsty Hearts Club brand. Sorry. By Monotone Tim. So thank you to Monotone Tim for making this wonderful album. They're pretty cool.
This is cursed already.
Oh, it's great. I'm going to turn it up just the tiniest tad.
I was very confused for a second. I stopped watching your stream under the starting.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know. I was like, oh, this
You're
is.
good.
I'll let you tune in real quick.
Yeah. I'm in.
That's staying in, by the way.
Oh, I
The next
see.
channel icon is a Sonic emblem thing.
Yeah. Oh god.
So wait. So is this a troll or is this an actual thing that was done or is it just a
This is a-
YouTuber being funny?
This feels like a troll, I think.
So,
fantastic. Hey.
so I'm gonna turn this
I'm
down
glad
just a
that the
tad.
I'm fantastic robot is getting work. I'm glad.
So this is a collection of popular karaoke songs, but parodied in a Pepsi style, Pepsi-ganda, if you will. And
I like
it
how
is-
you said parodied in a Pepsi style,
I
like
mean-
Pepsi's a genre of music.
You
It
could
is.
say this is like
At this point, yes, it is.
You could say this is a shit post, but I think this says a lot about corporatism and society and how we truly need to abolish all borders.
I just,
I'm
just,
digging this. This is great.
I just think it's funny. But yeah. No notes for this. It's fucking fantastic. Well, I mean, I have notes, but like no notes quality wise.
I like how the robot voice is British, chance and glass.
And like if you look at the fucking lyrics popping up on the screen, you have
to get it to say it properly, right?
Yeah, you see, they had to change like the way things are spelled to get it to actually pronounce properly. And you know what? I've fucked with some text to speech in my day. I just know. But yeah, so the standouts are Pepsi Queen, which we're listening to now. Taste Me, which is a parody of Call Me from Go West.
Oh my god.
Taste Odyssey, which is a parody of Space Odyssey from Bowie. Drink Pepsi, which is the other one that I'll let you guys choose between from, a parody of Let It Be by the Beatles.
Drink
Taste
Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Drink Pepsi.
Yeah, drink Pepsi, right. And then there's also Yesterday, brackets, like actual brackets, not British brackets. Ode to a Flat Soda, which is a parody of
Oh.
Yesterday from the Beatles. And it's mostly because I like the songs that they're parodying,
Yeah.
you know.
But also,
And-
it's funny. I mean,
Yeah, I really like it.
What year was
And-
this?
This was like, oh god, I almost said recent, 2016.
oh my god.
This is
Is that
so
another
this is so
Pepsi
fucking-
album down there?
Yeah,
Or
that's the
EP?
that's the P
The EP.
Oh,
the PPC, I guess.
the PEPC.
Peepsy.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
That's amazing.
I will say.
There has to be a deluxe edition that's just Pepsi Max.
No, sadly there is not.
Oh.
I'll go ahead and stop that. If you guys want to listen, if all the audience and also y'all want to listen to this
That was brilliant.
on
Maybe
your
link
own,
down
you got to
below.
search up. Yeah, fuck it. Also, you guys search up Sergeant Pepsi's Thirsty Hearts Club brand.
Monotone Tim is the
Yeah.
uploader.
Yes.
Now we just need to, we just need to dissect the album cover and try and figure out if Pepsi died in
Which Pepsi is dead?
1966. Yeah.
Pepsi Blue is the one that's
I think it's
dead.
Pepsi.
Did Pepsi Blue die in a car crash and they just threw in a replacement that was identical?
There's some reports that he's still alive somewhere in Thailand or Indonesia or something, but you know.
Good. I've always
Yeah.
wanted to taste it.
sketchy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Tragedy.
drink Pepsi.
Don't drink Pepsi.
Pepsi Man.
If you care about your health, don't drink Pepsi. But hey,
Listen,
nothing beats
Pepsi
cracking
is-
open a cold fucking blue Pepsi and listening to a robot sing to you about Pepsi.
Pepsi is fucking trash. Coke is better, and tank controls suck ass. Eat shit.
Let's see. Can I fucking can I kick
kill
you?
Claw?
I can't. No.
Should we?
Kill this guy
should-
with hammers.
Wait, I'm gonna read you a billboard ad from the 1970s for Pepsi, and it
Alright.
reads: "Lip smacking, thirst quenching, ace tasting, motivating,
this.
good buzzing, cool talking, highway walking, fast living, ever giving, cool fizzing Pepsi."
Okay. All right, Pepsi.
I don't think
Chill.
this thing can do that. I don't think this thing can do that.
That's the Eminem cover that they never got around to
A little
recording.
bit of a Pepsi truck. But yeah, I guess that's all I got. I'm gonna push the next two to next time.
It's all right. Caddy.
Man, I gotta say though, first of all, I didn't know there was a Pepsi Red. I knew about Pepsi Blue. I loved Pepsi
Yeah,
Blue.
A lot of these are
Pepsi
region exclusive.
Red, it
Red-
was apparently like a somewhat spicy ginger flavor. That sounds so interesting.
Wow.
Actually,
Do you know what's
that sounds pretty
so I'm a Pepsi drinker. Our family are Pepsi drinkers, but we drink usually. Well, I'm now on caffeine-free Pepsi diet. Like I know it's hipstery bullshit, but
Yeah.
if I have caffeine now with the meds I'm taking for ADHD, I have palpitations. So I'm on
Oh, yeah.
caffeine-free now.
Fair.
But yeah, it's weird though because the thing I was like my constant addiction, my life source, my water was Pepsi Max in this country, which
Yeah.
is sugar free, just Pepsi
Pepsi's-
diet, but it's just but
I think it's
we
Coke Zero is like that here. I think we might have Pepsi Max. I'm not sure.
you do
we
have
do.
you have in the States there's Pepsi Max, and what's weird is that it tastes so different that I'm like, oh, this is why people in the States say Pepsi fucking sucks, because it does.
Yeah,
Like,
the
I don't
States
know
is
what it is, but Pepsi does not taste very, very good in the States, but it tastes really good over here.
I can tell you why. Well, mostly just because we have like less regulations on things.
High
But
fructose
also-
corn syrup, I will
High
say.
fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, but the corn syrup isn't in Max, it's sugar free, right? So
Well, no, it was still made with the same. It's still made
Oh,
with the
I
same
guess.
process. It's weird.
Yeah.
So Pepsi White is like a fucking yogurt flavored Pepsi.
oh,
Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's
Jesus
horrifying.
Christ.
No.
That's all. That's
Well,
a
yeah,
war crime.
probably, but like, why does Japan get that and I don't get that? I want that. I want to try it.
I mean,
What we
Japan
need
gets
to
all those
fi-
weird
what-
flavors.
What we need
We
to
should
find
get
out
out-
is if they've have they been clever enough with this album cover where Pepsi Black sitting right there. If you compared this directly with the Sgt. Pepper album cover, is the person standing there black? Because if they've
Damn.
done that on purpose, then that's
Ooh.
ingenious and also terrible.
Sergeant Peppers.
And
I mean,
also, what
if they're
is
wearing
the
black,
crushed up Coke can supposed to represent?
that is a
Yeah.
good question.
Okay.
Any
So-
layers here?
I guess like the funeral wreaths, but so it's
Oh,
very
that
low
makes sense.
resolution, so I don't want to bring it up. But this is in place of like the old Beatles, like from the '60s. They're all
Yeah,
standing to the
mm.
side.
Okay.
I will say I didn't notice before, but yeah, like all four of the Central Pepsis, they're all like
Oh, they're the
you know,
right
in the
colors.
same
Holy
colors.
shit! Yeah,
they're in the exact
you're
same
right.
colors. Like there's
Ooh,
Pepsi
that's
Gold,
hilarious.
Pepsi Pink, Pepsi Blue, and Pepsi Red.
Oh my god, they've actually gone the distance. That's brilliant.
That is pretty wild.
Shout outs to Monotone Tim. they knew what they were doing.
Hell yeah!
Oh no.
There's some Pepsi ice
Oh,
cucumber
dear.
back there.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Damn.
Some Japan ass flavor.
I just wish now that Ringo's drum kit from now on, that's the bass drum cover, the drink Pepsi Cola. Like not the Beatles logo, not Sergeant Pepper, just that's now his thing.
Hell yeah.
He did Pizza Hut ads. He did Pizza Hut ads.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
And he likes eating them crust first.
I like eating them crust first.
Pizza Hut.
I really like it. I like it, Paul.
Don't tell me I can't eat Pizza Hut, John. I love Pizza Hut.
I'm warning you with peace and love. Eat
Pizza
crust
Hut and
first.
love.
Peace and love. Pizza Hut crust first.
Peace and love, Pizza Hut. Peace and love, Pizza Hut.
They should have had him doing those
Really
commercials.
makes you think, huh?
I really like their wings, Paul. I really think they're really good.
All right. Oh, uh-oh.
Actually pressed F12 there.
All right.
Oh, never press
Caddy,
that.
I guess.
Never.
Yes.
Oh, is it me?
Yeah, I guess
Yep.
so.
This is is this
What
all we're
was the
doing for
last
now?
round?
Then? Yeah, there
Yeah.
we go.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so we're back onto my all-time favies at the moment. So we have got, again, funnily considering what we've all spoken about before. I'm an Angel Dust man myself. I'm a Faith No More Angel Dust man myself.
And good taste.
Yes, absolutely. I remember the first time I heard it. I remember, like, I don't even know how I came across it. Maybe it was my dad. I don't know, but it was like, it was just there in his CD collection, and it was like, Faith No More sounds really dark and edgy, and I pick it up, and it's like, it's called Angel Dust, and there's this like crane on the front, and then you turn the cover over, and it's like a meat factory with like pig meat and shit, and you're like, what is this? And then you're looking at the track list, and you're like, there's a song here called Jizzlobber and Crack Hitler. What is this album? And then you fucking put it in, and the opening track, Land of Sunshine, starts, and then it's like, you've got the fucking bass line, and you've got the chugging in the riff, and then you've got Mike Patton's voice, and then you've got the break where he's just like, here's how to order, for no reason at all, and then it's and then the synths are there. So yeah, Land of Sunshine opening track fucking changed when I was much younger what I knew music could do. It was like mind-blowingly different from what I was used to hearing. And then it goes off into fucking Caffeine, which I've heard apparently was written when Mike Patton deliberately kept himself awake for like more than 48 hours just to see what his mind would come up with. And then Caffeine ended up happening, the song, which is really, really dark, really foreboding song. It's a very dark, foreboding album, and it's mostly down to the synth. But then you get like funky as hell shit like Midlife Crisis and A Small Victory, super fucking funky as well. And like you get all this weird shit that's really in your face and really gothic and really dark and really nasty. And then like at the very end, if depending on the version you have, you then get their cover of Easy by the Commodores, Lionel Richie. And then it's like, and it's so good that it's like, it's actually like, why is this even a cover? This is just the original. You know, it's like, it's almost a terrible cover because it's just the same fucking song. And it's very interesting. Well, I mean, okay, well, even if you don't have Easy as the ending track, you do have Midnight Cowboy, which is like super fucking chill, relaxing. It's just,
banger.
It's one of those things. It is a banger. It's very, very experimental, very, very out there, very different, but also, you know, doesn't go so out there that you can't really relate to it or can't really get into it. Like, you'll be tapping your feet, but you'll also be like, what the fuck was that noise? And you'll be like, what? Yeah, it's a weird kind of...
What is Mike Patton doing now with his voice?
Yeah, absolutely. It's
it's a fucking banger.
Yeah, and what's actually, do you know what's really funny? I'm looking at Wiki right now. So apparently, the bassist and the drummer both said, and I was just talking about this, which is really weird, but the image on the rear of the album it's on purpose. It's a direct contrast to the front. So it's like you've got Angel Faith No More, Angel Dust, and then beautiful artwork, and then Meat Factory, Slaughterhouse, and they both said it's all on purpose. It's the beautiful mixing with the sick, they said, and that's a very good way to describe this album. It is very much a clashing ideas, clashing it's because you even with like Midlife Crisis, which I would say is probably the most popular song from this album, and really fucking slaps. But like even with that, you'll listen to it and you're like, this was a radio hit, right? And then it's like you listen to the first vocal line and it's like, and it's like, how did this get on the radio? You know, it's just insane. And it's very good. I nearly went with The Real Thing, I'm not gonna lie, but then
Real Thing's a good album.
I don't remember which one of you guys put it, but one of you guys picked that.
I think I did,
yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, so that's basically cemented my choice. They're both great albums. And yeah, I will also say while I'm right here, I don't know if it was their most recent album, actually. Maybe they've done another one since then. But also, super underrated album, Sol Invictus, 2014. So really, I thought it was really fucking good.
I think it might be their very latest album. I think they're working on something, but I'm not certain where it's at.
And I mean, I was drawn to that album purely because it was like, oh, great, these guys are like in their 50s and still going. They can still, they can still, like, Mike Patton can still do the fucked up growling with his voice. They can still really, really fucking smash their instruments out. They can still rock out. And then you have like the album cover of Sol Invictus, and then you have the liner notes and the back, and it's all like 1930s black and white Halloween like trick-or-treaters, and they're all kids, but they look, it's so fucking creepy. But yeah, no, the incredibly interesting band. Basically, I don't know if they've ever done a bad album. I don't know if that's a safe thing to say. It's all just very interesting and different. Yeah. I like the first album with, the other dude who I forget the name of, the other singer.
Chuck Mosley. Chuck Mosley.
Yes, thank you, Chuck. Yes. Did he pass away or something?
I think he passed away in 2015 or 2016.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Was it
like
concert for him? It was I think complications due to like AIDS or HIV. I could be wrong.
I heard it was drugs or something. I don't know, but
I think I might be
whatever
it was.
Else.
But it was it was still tragic. It was
it's absolutely. But it's so like you hear a lot about like, oh yeah, no, Mike Patton ruined Faith No More or something. I completely disagree. I think it changed it.
Different style, but it's still very similar. Like you can see the progression.
It's musically very, very similar, but it's just way more experimental, way more shit going on, way more interesting ideas, way more, like they said, the beautiful mixing with the sick. It's not just one idea. It's not just one, like, you listen to you introduce yourself. A lot of it does sound, very samey when you look at it in like from face value, but then you look at this, it's like every track is completely fucking different, because you'll have RV, which is just like pianos and weird, like undistorted guitars and like 3/4 timing, while like Mike Patton is like he's Mama Maxing. That's what he's doing in RV. It's like, oh shit, and he's just doing all of that shit in the verses, and then it gets to the chorus. It's like, I'm talking to myself, and it's like, oh my god, this is a crazy album. Super fucking good. Can't recommend it enough. So that'll be that. Moving on with runners
it's
up.
Fucking cold. It's 27 fucking degrees Fahrenheit outside.
Yeah. We're below 0 in Celsius right now.
Oh yeah.
It's 1 over here. 1 Celsius over here. And do you know who else is probably really cold and 1 Celsius right now?
Who's that?
This guy, because he's in the ground.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
This is a banger album, though. I agree. This is.
It is
one of his
American
last ones.
4. Well, here's the thing. It is his last one. But then I think, it basically, like, they did a couple more after, and I think it was described as Rick Rubin's, like, passion project of, like, his mixtape, right? It was like, he had a load more shit that he recorded, but they never got out on time, so Rick Rubin decided to produce it and release it anyway. But if you want to hear, like, because all of the shit in this album, which is American 4, The Man Comes Around is the name of the album. It is basically the sound of a guy dying. That is what it is. And
This is the one that Hurt's on, right?
It is the one that Hurt is on. And it's he goes like there's a lot of covers on it. He goes back to Give My Love to Rose, which is one of his earlier songs, but it's like a completely different vibe. He does a cover of Bridge Over Troubled Water, which is great. There's loads of stuff. There's loads of oh yeah, In My Life he does a Beatles cover and it weirdly works as well. But then you've got Hurt, obviously, which is the standout. Like, obviously, everyone fucking knows that. It's now become even for the worst. It's now like, Boogie says that he has cancer, and then you find out he doesn't, and then you just play Hurt.
Have it all.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bit of a lolcow anthem, but also it is a very, very, very loving rendition of that track. I'm sure Trent Reznor is unbelievably proud that he was picked to do that.
I think he even said at one point, like, it's not my song anymore, it's Johnny Cash's. And
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
I like his version, but Johnny Cash, I mean, come on.
Yeah, and then you got the video that accompanies it, and as well, it's like that was probably the last shit that was filmed of him, and it's like, the video goes back and forth between black and white footage of Johnny Cash back in the 50s and 60s, and then June Carter Cash comes down the stairs, and it's like, yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy shit. There's even he does a cover by Sting of all fucking people, but it's a song called I Hung My Head, which is incredibly depressing. It's just about a guy that accidentally shoots a rider while practicing his aim on his gun, and then ends up being arrested for the rest of his life. And it's just like, I wish I was fucking dead. It's every track is very, very solemn, very like, I think it's time now. There's an ending feeling to it. Like the album cover kind of says it all as well. It's very just kind of, yeah, it's an exhale. It's like, I've done like fucking 70 albums. I feel tired. Let's end this whole thing off.
So it's like his Black Star, basically.
Yeah,
almost.
I was trying to think of a really good comparison.
Yeah, Black Star is a good comparison, but Black Star is more. I would say Black Star was entirely personal. Like Black Star is just what is going on in David Bowie's head. Oh yeah, Black Star is what's going on in his head. Whereas this is more like a friendly goodbye kind of thing, because there are a lot of covers. It's not like a completely original concept. It's not like, yeah, because Black Star literally is about how David Bowie was feeling in his final days, and I think they deliberately released it on the day that he passed away or something like that. I don't know.
The day before or a couple days after.
So it was very
I'll
take a look at
it was almost like the entire thing. It was almost like it was just the whole thing was an art piece to say goodbye to everybody. Whereas this is more just kind of like, I've been doing this for a while now. I'm tired. Let's just go through some of my favorite tracks.
It was released on his 69th birthday.
Ah, nice.
And then he died. Wow. He died 2 days later.
That's crazy. That's spooky. Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild.
But yeah. There's also he's come back up again. there is also a Nick Cave duet on this album as well. I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry, which is a Hank Williams song. But yeah, there's some good shit on here, and yeah, everyone knows Hurt. The Man Comes Around is one that probably a lot of people know as well. That's the one I would say give that one a listen. It's the opening track and sets the tone very, very well. It's one of the few on the album as well that he wrote himself in his older age as well. And it's really fucking good. It's very, again, it's very kind of apocalyptic, but at the same time very joyous and very bouncy and very accepting. And it's very catchy, very fucking catchy. And there's like it goes off and talks about the Four Horsemen. He does a Bible verse to kick the whole album off, and then his super chunky acoustic guitar strings come in, and like I've never heard acoustic guitars sound like they do on this album. It's like they're the size of bass strings. They are so fucking chunky.
Yeah, he might have custom strings. Like I know some people use like more elastic strings if they're doing like specific types of music.
Yeah, it's just a very weirdly, it's just a very nice album. It's a very funeral heavy, very funeral baity, I suppose, but it's just a very nice goodbye album, I suppose. And then I don't know when he passed away after this, but yeah, maybe he didn't even know he was dying, but there is a very heavy feeling of that. It feels like it. it's a tiring feeling to it, I guess. And I mean, yeah, dude had a massive career, loads of hits, loads of changed music forever, and yeah, it's definitely worth a listen. Definitely, it's just a bit heavy, so you know, if you cry at music easily, probably don't. But you know,
definitely don't listen to Black Star.
That too.
Oh Jesus, no!
That's like a shotgun to your chest, man.
Yeah, like you've got fucking like Lazarus is pretty sad in Black Star, but then you also have 'Twas a Pity She Was a Whore, which is not that sad.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true.
But Black Star is so fucking fast. I love that album. It's so fucking fascinating. It's so fascinating. Yeah. But yeah, that's separate conversation. But yeah, like
interesting similarity though, something like that kind of end of the
just with less just with less rambling. Yeah, less acid jazz rambling and self-inflict. Yeah, less of that kind of stuff. Put it this way: the final track of this album is a cover called of a song called "We'll Meet Again." That's the ending track, and I'm pretty sure that all the surviving members of his family join in on that song. So it's
great.
It's pretty heavy shit. It's pretty heavy shit. But definitely worth a listen for the sake of music history and also I mean it's Rick Rubin produced. It sounds amazing. So, you know, it's good shit. Good shit. And Robert Christgau gave it an A-. So there you go. So you know it must be pretty good.
Finally.
Even Broke-Ham is like, yeah, I got to. Fuck. All right.
Yeah.
Even Armand White has to give an S sometimes.
I concede. Yes. Yeah. And then my final pick for this stream, podcast, whatever you want to call it, in terms of newer discoveries, is I checked this out purely on the album cover. Ooh. I was fascinated. Nice. The 9 Inch Nails, The Downward Spiral.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of Trent Reznor and speaking of Hurt, because this is the album that song comes from, and weirdly, that is not the reason I wanted to listen to this album, because I've heard the original version. I mean, obviously the dude wrote it and he performed it in his way. It was meant to convey something he was going through, and he did it in his own way. But I think the Cash version's better. I just So
100%.
So that was not the reason why I wanted to listen to this. It was actually a few things, because I remember people, like a lot of the goth and emo kids used to have 9 Inch Nails hoodies back in the day at school, and so I've always associated it as just edgy teen, angsty boy, whiny music, which I mean you could argue, I guess, but because of that, I was kind of put off by it, and then I started hearing stories about this album in particular, and there were two that kind of caught my eye, or my ear rather, which were, the first one was apparently that it was recorded, and I could be wrong, I'll have to look it up. Apparently it was recorded in the same building that Sharon Tate was murdered in by the Manson family, apparently.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Okay.
So that house, which is in the Tarantino movie, which I forget, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So yeah, if I'm right in thinking that house was converted into a studio, I don't know. But yeah, I think it was recorded in that area, which is already very interesting. And then I heard that apparently when this album was finished, Trent Reznor handed it over to whoever was the publisher for it and just said, "I'm sorry," and walked out. Damn. And I was like, what? Yeah, it piqued my interest. And I don't know much about 9 Inch Nails or Trent Reznor, aside from like all the shit he's composed, like a very, very talented person, clearly. But yeah, it's like, as a concept, as an idea, as like industrial metal album, like, it's basically, you can have albums that sound more aggressive. You can have albums that have harsher things going on, tougher subject matter.
You can have a dentist drill in your fucking.
You can have a dentist drill. You can have a dentist drill. You can do. You can eat pig growling.
You can eat an all lettuce burrito while listening to Merzbow.
You can do all of these things. You can do that, and yet, when I heard this, I listened to it back to just start to the end. I didn't go into bits and pieces, because with concept albums, I think it's better to just go from start to end, because it's unraveling a story. And I would say that this is the emotion of hate in music. That's how I would describe it. It's like if hate
Interesting.
had a sound, that's what this is. It's not like particularly catchy or particularly like superly complexly composed or anything, but it is just a very, very, very dirty, grimy. I mean, I guess this is where industrial that term comes from, right? It's just very Silent Hillish, very kind of metallic, very unnatural. Yeah, very destructive.
Discordant.
Yes. And yeah, it's just a load of soundscapes and ideas, and like apparently one of the other biggest hits from this album was Closer, which I'm amazed by. I mean, it's definitely it's very groovy and very low, very subtle and very compared to the rest of the album, but I'm surprised it was a hit purely because of what it's about. I'm pretty sure it's just about intense fucking.
It is.
So I don't know how that got
that's
onto
most
radio.
of the songs on the radio. It's fine.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, fair. But yeah, it is like I couldn't really. I've tried to listen to it and kind of get my own idea of what it's about without looking into it. So I don't really. It's easy to say it's a downward spiral. It's about a guy losing his mind and then killing himself or something. I'm not really 100% sure, but I like albums like this where you can try and take your own idea and then look into like what the artist intent was. I like that kind of thing, and that's what I got when I was listening to it. I was like, I was interested at the stories behind it, and then I was listening to it. I was thinking, do I want to look into this, or shall I just try and figure out something myself first? Does it speak to me? Yeah, it spoke to me. It just hit me in the right places, and then yeah, there's not really much else to say about it. It's super out there, super different, not conventional at all. Not bops. Not they don't slap. Does not slap. It's not an album that slaps.
Yeah.
It's an album that cuts. It doesn't slap. It cuts.
Yeah, it shoots.
And I think, it's funny because like I look back and I think about all the goth and emo kids that were wearing NIN hoodies, and it's like I mean, it's very easy to say, okay, this is definitely, emo heavy and very, I want everything to be over kind of thing. But I think just lumping it in with, him and others like him exist on their own kind of thing anyway, but lumping it together with that style I think is very unfair because it's completely different. It's actually an expression. It feels more arty than just whinging and moaning about girls not liking you. It's a completely different thing. If I have to recommend any track, anything at all, I wouldn't recommend her, but I would recommend March of the Pigs is the one I'd recommend. Because that is like it's a very good summation of what the album feels like to listen to. It's very like it's like 7/8/8/8 7/8/8/8, so it's multiple time signatures anyway, so you can't really get into the groove of it because there isn't really a groove. And it's called obviously March of the Pigs. What the fuck could that possibly be about? And then you listen to it and it's just very, very overly distorted, very crunchy, very fast, and then when it comes to the end of the chorus and then into kind of the bridge before the next verse starts, it then goes into soft vocals and piano, and then it slows down, and then it immediately goes back into this quote-unquote March of the Pigs with the 7/8/8/8, very fast, very aggressive, crunchy, noisy, metallic kind of shit. It's interesting. It's very interesting. And I can't wait to go through the rest of the discography. This was very interesting. And also, the album cover's fucking gross. I don't know what it is.
It looks like a wall has. If a wall had like bleeding scabs.
I mean, it looks very Silent Hill. This is something out of the other world or whatever.
Absolutely. You say about Silent Hill, and then it's like this was 1994, which I thought Nine Inch Nails were 2000s. So like I was like, okay, all right, okay.
Maybe Silent looked at this and was like,
oh yeah.
I think what it is as well, all you need to do with me, you get an image of singular hairs on something sticky, and I feel uncomfortable immediately.
Well, no, there's certainly a 90s band, because obviously Trent Reznor did the soundtrack for Quake in 96.
Oh yeah, he did.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Isn't he doing the That new Naughty Dog game?
Yeah, the
God,
Interstellar or whatever it's fucking
Interstellar,
called.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Him
one
and
with the
Atticus.
leaders in
shit.
space.
Him and Atticus
Yeah.
Ross are working on it. Yeah.
Yeah, the one that looks shitty and woke. This like does also invoke the same thing that like Quake is going for, and you can see why they got him for to
And the gross
compose that game.
kind of deal.
Yeah, really like
Yeah.
scummy brown kind of. That's Quake totally. What year was this one? 94?
94. Yeah.
Yeah, so exactly like Quake comes out 2 years after this. You can tell that's exactly what id was going for. So that's interesting. I'll definitely have to. I think I did try listening to this at one point, but like I don't know, wasn't
It's
in
definitely
the right mood for it or whatever.
Yeah, you need to be in the right place. Like I started listening to it because what I tend to do with like all your guys' suggestions and everything, I tend to put everything in a backlog, and then when I take the dog out for a walk, that's when I've got me time, and it's just me, and I shut out all the outside noises, and then I can do one thing while doing another, so I feel like I'm not wasting my time listening to music. It's like, I'm walking the dog, I'm getting something done. So
Yeah,
I did start listening to this while walking the dog, and I was like, this is not walking the dog music. I need to I need to sit down and
You
like
need some
listen.
simple things for that. Not
Yeah.
Let them play in the
spiral.
field.
This is more like you're about
Yeah.
to beat all the other dogs' owners to death in a fist fight.
Yeah, this is Dio approaching a dog. You don't want that. No.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
like, nope.
I've just looked it up. So the first story I mentioned, it's half true. So apparently Trent Reznor moved to the house that Sharon Tate got murdered by the Manson family, and then
He got
transformed
fucked
it
into a
into a studio.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
So he moved into
That's
that
pretty cool.
house and then did the first ever Nine Inch Nails project in it, and then did this one. So,
Hey.
That's some
That's
wild stuff.
Yeah.
I
Oh no,
like
not
that.
the
I
first
know
one
he
that
was-
broke at the second one. Sorry, this is the third album. So yeah.
I think
Oh
he
no,
was-
it's this. I don't know.
Trent Reznor was also involved with, I think, Kate Bush around that time, like early 90s, late 80s.
I think so.
Really?
Maybe also even Madonna, but I don't know if that's right. That one might not be true.
I'm not sure about
Yeah.
Madonna, but I think the Kate Bush thing. I think I've heard of that.
he was like the bassist or something for Kate Bush. I'm not sure, but he was
Nice.
definitely, or maybe he was like dating her. I'm completely getting everything like total.
Kate
This is total
Bush is
Chinese.
There's
telephone.
there's some form of connection between the two at that time.
There's
Interesting.
a bit of Kevin Bacon going on, yeah.
Apparently, there's some apparently Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did a cover of a Kate Bush song for the film Bones and All, which, by the way, is a great movie.
Yes,
so
I really like
that would
It was
that would
fun.
make sense.
They also composed the soundtrack for the Disney Pixar coming of age girl movie Turning Red, which
Did they really?
The one that's
did not feature 9/11.
Oh man, that's what. See, that's why they got him involved, because they wanted
hit
to explore the
fucking
themes.
Pentagon.
Yeah, they
Yes.
wanted to subtly
Jeez.
imply it, but Mr. Enter didn't get that, so.
No, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I was too distracted by, like, okay, I know, whatever people's opinions of that film are, I knew I was going to really like that film the second that because obviously the red panda is a symbolism for something else, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, and
Obviously,
the second
it's
that
a symbolism for
obviously
really liking
9/11,
Chinese food.
it's the plane, it's
Yes.
yes,
They hit the
absolutely.
fucking Pentagon.
Yes, it's Bin Laden. Bin Laden is the monster. Yes.
Yeah, that's
So-
his persona.
Yeah, exactly. So there's one bit in that movie where the mum talks about, like, she says something along the lines of, if you're not careful, you're going to you're going to pander all over the place. And I was like, yeah, I thought that was really funny. I thought that was
pretty
really
good.
But then again, I do live in a house with at the time there were 3 other girls living in the house.
Yeah.
So
That
yeah,
makes sense.
no, 4. Sorry, I was living with 4 women, but now I'm living with 3 women. So yeah, like, it spoke to me. But yeah, that's funny. It was very funny.
Hey,
And also 9/11. That was kind of funny as well. I'm sad. I'm sad.
Yeah, really.
I'm
funny
really
stuff.
sad I didn't cover it, because in Canada and the UK and
yeah.
It hit everybody hard.
all over the Western world.
Yeah.
All over.
Especially
You
in
guys
Canada.
miss-
Yeah, I mean, Turning Red
Jump in
was
the
just.
pit.
It was a great movie, but it was a sad day for 9/11. You know,
It was,
Yeah.
and like, I mean,
Womp womp.
ultimately, you know, you're going in. It's called turning red, and it's like, well, that's obviously
Yeah.
the color.
Turning
That's
the
the color that the
plane.
streets turned. The color of the
Yes.
streets.
Turning the
They
plane into
turn
red
red.
buildings.
Yeah, and it represents the, you know, the building dust, the bricks as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why they got Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross to do the soundtrack for that movie.
Absolutely.
Because they
Yeah.
knew 9/11 better than anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did it.
Someone
And
asked
honestly-
where Trent was on that day.
Yeah,
Mm.
and honestly, you know, in that film there is that boy band that they all want to go and see. The kids want to go and see that boy band. When I think of boy bands, I think of 9/11. It all
That's-
links.
Yeah. What was NSYNC doing?
Yeah,
were
they're on
in
that
s-
same time. They were Ehad at Niaging.
Yeah, look, in sync. What were they in sync about?
Planning
It's-
9/11, of course.
I think,
They
yeah,
all
I think
had-
that.
They
It
all had
turned.
walkie-talkies. They
Yeah.
all had code names.
It turns out Joey Fatone's real
I think
name.
do you know what? I think they were all in sync with the arrival times of the flights. Honestly.
Yes.
You know what? Joey Fatone's real name? Muhammad Atta.
Oh,
Yes, that's
I'm
true.
going to
I
hell.
believe it. He looks like a Muhammad.
Man, looking at this thumbnail, I really got a lot of this. I jumped the gun on a lot of this. I didn't know we were going to go for so long. We cover a few.
Hey, we'll cover more.
No
We'll get-
oxygen,
Do you know?
no
hey,
Michael.
I am sure that in the plane, I'm sure that the little warning light. Do you know what? I think it turned red.
Ooh,
I think there was a big warning light and it was turning red. I think.
You know what? It actually, speaking of the thumbnail, it all ties together because, like, before, the last two thumbnails, the little aura around you was purple, and now it's red.
Even the
As
thumbnail is turning red.
As
Oh my
symbolism
God.
for 9/11. You know? Hey, you know?
It all comes together. This is the concept album of music themed podcast series.
And this is what the downward spiral is about because that's the direction the buildings went.
Yeah, see, it was actually about what he
Oh my
hoped
God.
it would happen with the 1993 World Trade Center attacks.
Oh my god.
Oh wait, so he was
He
just
got his wish a few years later.
yeah. It just took him half a decade almost. It's fine. He planned this out.
Yeah.
He knew what was going on.
He's a very clever man. He's
He's
very
a
clever.
very smart guy.
Why do you
Yeah.
think now all he does is just like music like soundtracks? 'Cause-
Imagine the fucking studio he could make out of Ground Zero, people. Like this
Yeah.
would be
Yeah,
the
do
next
you know what?
Abbey Road.
Like he probably should have moved into Ground Zero and then converted it into a studio. Yeah,
Yeah, like that
should
little
have
water
done.
pit.
yeah,
Put a roof on
yeah,
that. That's
yeah.
a perfect studio. You get all the wet
That's
reverb.
such acoustically perfect. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
shit!
And then
well,
and then in that studio is where he would have done the Turning Red score.
Yeah.
oh my god, that would have been perfect actually.
And
Yeah.
and there would have been that extra special tingle of charm to it.
So the
An
thing
extra
is that
special tingle of 9/11.
that would have been the society in which Emerson, Lake Palmer, and Hendrix happened. However, that society still would have had a 9/11. So we're not escaping 9/11. It's,
we're not
you
dodging
know,
Yeah, it's the canon event, I think.
Yeah.
If I'm using that phrase right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
All right,
that's a
well,
shame.
we're-
Tragic.
we're
We should
almost.
get off 9/11 talk.
Yeah, we should probably wrap this
Speaking
up now.
of 9/11, it's about 10:02 right now.
Yeah.
And I'm hungry, so that's it for music talk.
I gotta be at work at 5 a.m.
Oh, it was
Oh
good.
my-
It was good.
I didn't
was
think I
good.
would be. I didn't think at 3 a.m. on a Monday morning I would be crying laughing at 9/11. I didn't think that would be happening today.
Hey,
I'm.
Happens
going to
all
hell.
the time. You know?
Everyone's going to hell, and it's
Yeah.
okay because if you want to joke about the Blitz, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost all of our colonies. It's fine. We suck as everyone sucks. It's fine.
you
It's-
gotta make
whole
jokes out of
world's
tragedies.
going to hell.
It's over 20 years now. It's almost
You're-
retro.
You're on the podcast where our literal catchphrase is dystopia.
Yeah, essentially.
Mm.
Exclaiming the word dystopia is our like slogan. So welcome.
At this point, yeah. Well, yeah, Caddy, is there anything
Take
you
it
want to...
easy, folks.
Well, first, is there anything you want to shout out before we end the podcast?
I would like. I would like to shout out the next episode that we're gonna do as soon as we can.
Hell
That's
yeah.
right, Mega Man.
Yeah, we got to get to Michael Jackson and Peter Capaldi.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I'll have more next time, and I'll be more
You
sober.
know what? And I will shout out as well
Trying to be less
to.
sleepy.
I will just give a quick shout out to the worst user, Osama bin Laden, the worst user.
I hate that
Big
guy.
shout outs to 9/11.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's about time. It's about time he got what he deserved. He
I
needs
mean,
to
he
have a rant
doesn't even
video
get
made about him.
punished for it. Like,
Yeah.
Gets away scot free. I
Hashtag-
can't believe it.
Hashtag
no
Ketos, man.
background checks. Like,
Anyway,
what the fuck?
I can't wait until 2012, guys. To be
Coney
honest,
2012. Come on.
who's a Coney?
Exactly.
Anyway, so see you
Yes.
guys later. See you guys tomorrow on
Yes.
January the 12th, 2011.
Yep. Take it easy.
Coney Island 2012.
See you,
Oh,
folks.
hell
I
yeah.
gotta go jack it in San Diego. Take it easy.
Yep.
Penis.
Penis.
See y'all around, penis.
Penis.